laughter and fighting spirit, as her friend and colleague Clement Manyathela shared at a memorial service in Sandton earlier this week.
In our friend circle, we called him Mantwa. Mantwa means a fighter, because my girl was always ready for a fight. In fact, she has a pinned tweet of this naughty but content little doll. And the tagline there says, "Me at peace after I chose violence." And Sidi pinned that and said, "Bekele beke," meaning, "I'm ready any day."
Mourners have been encouraged to dress in bold and colourful attire in tribute to Madia and her love for colour. Have been encouraged to dress in bold and colourful attire in tribute to Madia and her love for colour. Lauren Isaacs, Eyewitness News.
A businessman has been reunited with his family following a shootout between police and the alleged master. The businessman was found in a shack in Alexandra shortly after midnight. He was rescued after a suspect was shot dead during a confrontation with officers in Kempton Park last night. The police's Athlenda Mate says the suspect goes by the nickname Dollarman.
The SAPS anti-kidnapping task team was actively searching for a kidnapped businessman who was kidnapped outside his business premises in Gauteng in July. When they identified the suspect as the possible kidnapper, they have been tracing him for quite some time.
Mate says he was on Mozambique's most wanted persons database for several kidnapping for ransom cases. Here in South Africa, he was linked to at least 5 kidnapping for ransom cases, as well as other cases of housebreaking, carjacking, and the possession of unlicensed firearms. Gun-Free South Africa has raised concern following a bizarre situation in the Cape Town CBD involving a naked man firing several gunshots with a police firearm. Officers responded to a call of the naked man who refused to cooperate after he was instructed to cover himself. Police say while trying to arrest him, he grabbed one of their guns and fired at least 3 shots, 2 of them to the ground. He was eventually arrested. Executive Director of Gun-Free South Africa, Stanley Maphosa.
The incident in the CBD is deeply concerning, but unfortunately not surprising in a country flooded with guns. What it highlights very starkly is just how dangerous and destabilizing firearms are when they fall into the wrong hands.
Joburg Ward 61 councillor Themba Mkhize says the extensive damage to Jeppe Hostel will make the 25-year-long overdue renovations difficult. Mkhize says the long-term neglect has left one of the biggest hostels in the city in a state of despair, requiring full refurbishing. Yesterday, the Human Settlements Department conducted an oversight visit to 5 of the hostels under its control, which are undergoing renovations, including Jeppe. Thandoluhle Ngcobo reports.
Ward Councillor Themba Mkhize says one of the challenges that they have faced with fast-tracking the progress is that the renovations are done with occupants still inside the hostels.
Progress is hindered because sometimes you find that all the people living in one unit are gone and it's locked, and they have to skip that unit.
He says at least 15,000 people live at Jeppe Hostel for free, which has compounded the issue of overcrowding. When asked about safety, Mkhize says the installation of surveillance cameras around the premises has helped lessen the impact of crime.
Before we had a big problem of people getting killed here, shooting at each other. Hijacked cars would be hidden here at this hostel. But since the installation of cameras, things have changed.
He says the residents are happy with the positive changes being made. Thandoluhle Ngcobo, Eyewitness News.
And at least 15 people have been killed in a tram accident in Portugal. It derailed in Lisbon yesterday in one of the capital's most popular tourist spots. The yellow Gloria tram veered off a steep stretch of tracks near Liberty Avenue and crashed into a building. 18 people were injured. The Portuguese government has declared today a day of national mourning. Gold is trading at $3,526.06 an ounce. The rand's at 17.70 to the dollar, 23.77 to the pound, 20.63 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $67.10 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got some delays on the M1 South. In fact, a stop and go between the Baklu interchange and Corlett Drive. There's also queuing traffic in Bedford View along several routes surrounding the Kilulis interchange, the N3 North, R24 East, as well as the R24 West towards the Kilulis interchange due to multiple incidents around this turn-off. Please be on the lookout.
Gauteng's fine, highs between 29 and 31 degrees. The top story in Eyewitness News this hour. Friends, colleagues and loved ones of renowned broadcast journalist Tshidi Madea have gathered in Germiston this morning to bid her a final farewell.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
The famous Super Lotto draw takes place tonight with a mouth-watering payout of 957 million rand. All you have to do is choose 6 lucky numbers and place your bets on the Super Lotto on lottoland.co.za. Will you be the next big winner on Lottoland? Place your bets now. Lottoland changes lives.
No person under the age of 18 years permitted to gamble. Lottoland South Africa is licensed by the Western Cape Gambling and Racing Board. National Responsible Gambling Program toll-free council line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710. Winners know when to stop.
702.
Live
On the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856
92.7
and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
Eight minutes after 9 o'clock. Thanks very much for joining us. You're on 702. Clement is not here. Thabo in his stead. We're together till 12. I'm thrilled that you decided to join us and you chose us out of so many others. It means that we must indeed make it worth your while, and it will be worth your while. The entire team is here, and the most important ingredient is you. Really appreciate it. Let me just, without any further ado, go straight to it and just to let you know what's coming up on the show. Obviously, the open line, we kick off with that, and I always invite you to send your worth, your views, your thoughts, your queries, your ideas about anything else that may be taking place in your neck of the woods. It could be at home, at work, at play. I want to know what is on your mind. There could have been something that took place a few days ago and we might not be aware of that. You are most welcome to share that with us and let the entire world know about it. It's the 4th of September 2025, Thursday, and spring is indeed here. One of the things that I'd like to speak about on the open line is the fact that so many people have died on our roads in the past week, 14 to be exact. Yesterday, 5 people died. I think it was on the N1 road due to road carnages. Our driving in Gauteng, Johannesburg in particular, is something to really look into. We need to put a spotlight on that. So many people die on our roads, and it seems to be normal with us. I mean, some time ago, I was standing in for John Perlman on his show, and I spoke about the phenomenon of the ambiguity of the amber light on the traffic lights. And a lot of people, some called in to just put me in my place as usual, and people say, of course, Thabo, the rules are very clear on amber lights. Yeah, I suppose now you know what I'm talking about, right? If the rules are so clear, why is it that no one is following the rules? Some people, when their robot turns amber, they fly through. They don't slow down. I know what the law says, but practice is what we were talking about. Obvious as it may be, these are the issues that we need to put on the table and examine ourselves, look into our conscience as drivers. What is it that we are doing wrong on the road? And the level of anger, goodness me. People are ready to get out of their cars and beat you up right now, right here. Where does that come from? You could just erroneously do something and wave your hand. People are ready especially in Gauteng, especially in Johannesburg, the level of anger. And I'm wondering to what extent do all these things that I've mentioned, to what extent do they contribute to the carnages that we see on our roads? Are you an angry driver? Are you considerate on the road? Or is it just about you and that meeting because you left home late, or you had a fight with your spouse, or you are just angry at your boss and you are taking it out on anyone else without indicating your movements, shifting to the other lane? You just bulldoze your way through. And anyone else who dares to ask you for some accountability, you are ready to take out your hockey stick and deal with them right there on the spot, because you know that there won't be any consequences. The consideration on the roads is not there. What is going on? 14 people died. And I know you may say, yeah, Thabo, it happens all the time. Here's the thing about these things. I don't want us to get used to those numbers. It shouldn't be normal that people are dying like that on our roads and we keep quiet. We shouldn't be numb. We shouldn't have a sense of fatigue when expressing these things. It should be an abnormality. It should be something that we are all disgusted about. We can't allow that to be an ordinary day. Business as usual. Okay, 14 people died. Let's move on. What are we going to speak about? Oh, did you see what Zuma did today? It can't be. It cannot be. This affects you and I directly. We use those roads every single day, every hour. As I'm talking to you, some of you are listening to me whilst driving. Guys, we need to examine ourselves. I'm putting myself out there as well. We truly need to think twice. If you are late, you are late. Don't make it another person's problem, because you create the problem behind you and you drive off and you leave 10 people dead behind you and you just don't care because no one realized it was you, or you just happened to just drive away. It's not normal. It's not normal. 14 people die on our roads in just a week. No, please, let's say something about that. Give us a call. What kind of a driver are you? Are you calm? Are you considerate? Are you thoughtful? Or are you angry? And at times you can't help it. Listen, admitting it helps, right? That's a first step. And have you been involved in an accident? What happened when you were involved in an accident? How did it come about? Was it your fault? Was it someone else's fault? And it's very rare to be involved in an accident and find someone who admits that they were wrong. Very rare. It's always someone else's problem, right? No, he made a turn. No, it's always someone else's problem. I've never had someone say, it was me. Honestly, I was in a hurry. I didn't look. I didn't care to just have a gaze at the mirrors. I just, without even indicating, moved to another lane, and there it was. I should have done better. No one ever says that. No one ever says that. However, we are quick to demand accountability from authorities, from government, from public sector, private sector. We are so ethical. We demand the very best, but in our lives, that doesn't happen. That accountability must happen elsewhere, not in our lives. We can't be hypocrites, guys. We can't be. 14 people died. Those are people's parents, people's children, grandchildren, uncles, nephews, CEOs, business entrepreneurs, nurses, doctors. It doesn't matter what is it that they did, but those are lives of individuals. And they're precious. Every life is precious. There are so many people crying right now, in tears. When one person dies, at least, I would like to assume, at least 2,000 people are affected, including those who have to attend the funeral. So let's do better. I want to hear from you, if you don't mind. What kind of a driver are you, especially if you are in and around Johannesburg? Have you been involved in an accident? What happened? Was it you? Was it the other person? But most importantly, what can we do to reduce these levels of carnages on our roads? What can we do to reduce fatalities on our roads and accident? What practical steps that we should take? Let me know on 011-883-0702. Let's not avoid this one. Let's not avoid this one. Let's not move elsewhere. Let's face it head on. It's a serious crisis. It's a massive crisis. JMPD perhaps may not say that, but it's a big, big issue. 14 people died. 072-702-1702. Please send your text messages and your voice notes to that number. And that's what we'd like to explore on the open line. But also I want to put on the open line the issue of the service industry and some workers that we generally don't care about that much. Waitresses, waitrons who work in restaurants who don't get a basic salary, car guards who don't get basic salaries, and who have to live on tips. Even those tips, they have to share those tips with their bosses. At the end of the day, the bosses would be taking that money that they've collected, that you and I would have given them, and then they would have to share that money with them. That is modern day slavery. That is modern day slavery. We can't allow for that to happen. Are you in that space? What is your experience as a waitress, as a waitress? What's your experience? As a car guard, as a cleaner, what's your experience? When we talk about labor relations, we ascribe it only to people who wear a shirt to work, who've got offices, who have titles and so on. No, that should apply to everyone across board. And we must call out those shopping malls, those restaurants, those outlets that abuse waiters and waitresses. If we are so keen on walking the talk, if really our business is calling out inefficiencies and incompetencies, then we must do so across the board. Those people are there. The car guards are there. They live on the 2 rand, on the 5 rand, on the 10 rand, 20 rand, which they have to share with their bosses. And chances are their bosses get money from a shopping center. And over and above, they even go to an extent of grabbing whatever little that these guys have raised. Please let us know. 011-883-0702. So 10 to 11, Nambitha Mpumlwana will be my guest. She's a public speaker and actress. You know her. A prominent actress. She was in Generations, The Lab, Red Dust, and Tsotsi. Remember that lady who was hijacked, I think right at the beginning of the film Tsotsi. That was her, and the baby was taken by the lead character, the late, great Chonyehai. And that's Nambitha, as is Nambitha, I should say. And she will be in the studio. We're going to have a great chat, and I'd like you to also participate and call in, and we'll speak about this, that, and the other. Now, on the dialogue, we'll be speaking about jobs path between 11 and 12. So many people have lost their jobs. Are you one of those? Retrenchments? Are you a victim, a casualty of retrenchment? How are you making ends meet? How were you told? I mean, you saw ArcelorMittal. 3,500 jobs to be shared. There's a tire company as well that is sharing jobs, and various other entities, and even smaller ones that we don't know anything about. I'm going to ask you to call us during that time and share your thoughts. We'll be speaking to Matthew Parks of COSATU, Professor Jane Rousseau, Professor at Wits Business School, Tobe Kamangai, spokesperson for the Ministry of Employment and Labour, and of course you'll be central to that discussion. The show has officially begun, Albel. It's 19 minutes after 9.
702.
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
I've been speaking too much. I suppose that's my job, right? So let's give you a chance as well to say something. 011-883-0702. I'd love to hear from you. You know how I scan the calls. I won't say it because I'll be in trouble with Abel. Melvin, you are in Jamestown. Good morning.
Good morning, Thabo. I hope you're well.
I try. I'm flustered by all these things. But what's on your mind? Good morning. Thanks for calling, Melvin.
Strongs to the 702 family. I know it's the funeral of CD this morning.
Certainly.
All the best, and I hope everything goes well.
Yeah,
Thabo,
definitely.
I take myself as a very responsible and a very calm driver. You know, I'm a father. I also have a family of 4, 2 little ones. And I'm not going to lie to you. I do sometimes get very angry at how some of the people drive on the road. But because I'm always with them, I try not to have any outrage or outburst.
In
they're
front
gonna
of them.
ask me, in front of them, what's wrong, Daddy? What's going on? They're very inquisitive. But one thing that I shared earlier with your producer is, I was in Mozambique in October last year. And, for every 1 kilometer that you drive, there's a law enforcement officer that awaits for you. So you can never accelerate to 60, 80, 100. Because just as you're about to, drive a little bit faster, then there's a law enforcement officer waiting for you. And I found that very interesting. And it actually kept my speed limit to 60, 80 every time. And I think in South Africa, we have got that problem where we don't have law enforcement visibility. We'll see one
visible
or two
policing.
Guys parked on the highway, visible policing from our EMPD, from our JMPD, and also from our TMPD. Every year, a lot of graduates are taken in by these different law enforcement agencies, but we don't see these guys on the road. I mean, if we look at the accident again that happened this past weekend, with the DJs as well, early morning.
Yeah.
So unfortunate, Thabo. But for me, like I said, my experience in Mozambique showed me that it's actually doable because we do have the law enforcement officers in our offices. We know the challenges of overtime and the fights that's currently going on, But if we can have, more visibility on the roads, I think we'll avoid a lot of those things. And if our guys can just also, refrain from all the wrong things, the cold drink and those things, as we call it,
Got you,
we can actually, we can clear up our roads. We can have less accidents.
I think you've said it all, Melvin, because, whenever you see a traffic officer on the road or their vehicle, you drive differently. You then, there's a sense of sobriety that kicks in almost subconsciously that, hey, what's the speed here? And let me just try to behave. Melville, thanks for that. Really appreciate it. And we go straight to Linton, who's calling us from Kempton Park. Linton, hi.
Hi, how are you, sir?
I'm trying, man. How are you?
All right, good. Firstly, I would like to say, may our sister on radio rest in peace, soul rest in peace.
Amen.
As she's
Amen.
laid to rest today. I haven't had a chance to send that to the radio. I've always been listening to her.
Yeah. No, we appreciate it. We appreciate it, and I'm glad that you're starting on that note. Thank you so much, Linton.
Yes.
All the best.
All
Thank
right.
you. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yes. So I'm definitely sharing the same sentiment with the guy who you just spoke to now. But now my concern is, yes, there might be visibility on the road. I'm an Uber driver, by the way. I'm always on the road, as you can imagine. I've seen people like driving recklessly in front of the police. I'll be stopping on a traffic light, and there's a police vehicle, whether in front or at the back of me, and you see a guy just skipping a red traffic light. And those guys, they don't care even just following that person to give him a fine or give a fine. And I've seen so many, that's so concerning that I've seen so many people on the N3 next to Edenvale off-ramp and Greenstone and London off-ramp. I've seen so many pedestrians crossing over on the highway, and sometimes you will see a Metro Police car next to the highway. But those guys are just sitting in their cars, busy on WhatsApp or busy on their cell phones. So you can't even see them acting upon on it. It's just concerning because those people put their lives in danger. And just yesterday, I picked up my daughter from the bus stop. She got off a taxi. When she got into the car, she started crying. And I asked her, what's wrong? She said, Dad, we nearly got into an accident in a taxi that I was in because the brakes failed. And the guy had to hit the pavement to stop the
Oh,
taxi.
my goodness me. Oh, my goodness. Hey, what a sad story. Thanks, Linton. Really appreciate it. Thabo Shole-Mashao in for Clement Manyathela. We're together till 12:25 minutes after 9 o'clock. I'd love to hear from you. And who's up next? It's definitely Julian. Julian in Rustenburg. Julian, hi.
Thabo, how are you doing, man?
I'm trying, man. How's it?
Oh, blessed. It's sunny in Rustenburg. We skipped our spring altogether, went straight to summer.
So sorry, I missed that.
No, we skipped our spring altogether and we went straight to summer.
Yeah, typical of South Africans to skip processes, eh? Straight to summer. But I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining. What's on your mind?
No. Thabo, I was just listening now this morning what you were talking about waiters, just more specifically on waiters. Sorry, I can't comment on car guards and whatnot.
No, feel free to. Yeah.
I have a restaurant in Rustenburg, and this that you were saying that they don't, there's prescribed minimum conditions in the Basic Conditions of Employment Act.
Yes.
Where anyone who does business or conducts business for you should be earning minimum wage or better.
Yeah.
So, for example, in our restaurant, they get the hourly rate depending on how they've worked in the week.
Yeah.
So they cannot earn less than that.
Yes.
And tips are inadmissible as a form of earning. That would be seen as a special bonus. So I don't know if you guys want to maybe get a labor broker or someone on board that can maybe discuss between the different bargaining councils and the basic conditions of employment.
No, we should.
Because it's disgusting for me to hear that there are still premises out there that are getting away with it. Because that's how it used to be. But I mean, in the last 5 years, they've changed all those rules.
No, you see.
And the guys are earning properly.
Yeah, and I don't want to interrupt you, Gillian, but I have to let you know that, I mean, all these things come up, especially when you go to a restaurant and they would ask you, the ladies, the guys would ask you, I'm sorry to be doing this, but do you have cash? And then when you're asking why, it says, one, I'm not going to get the tip, and two, I have to share the tip with the management and everyone else, but three, I don't have a basic salary. So this, if you have cash, I'll be able to catch a taxi, go home and come back tomorrow. And when you, and I've had this a million times or more, wherein you feel so bad for all these individuals. And when you really take the owners to task, you'll be exposing these people and they'll be ostracized, isolated, or even fired. So you're wary of raising your voice. And I have to say this before I give you a last shot, Julian, that I am well aware that it's not all restaurants. I know that there are good people out there who treat their employees like gold, and I encourage them to do that. But there are so many others that are creating a nasty blemish on their industry altogether. Last word, bro. Last word.
Yeah, so the thing is in that case, then it's for the Labour Department where they dived in last year. They were busy going through everyone with their foreign nationals and everything that went up to scratch.
Yeah.
The Labour Department needs to take it further then and actually go and investigate the guys to see that they're paying their people right and everything. And the waiters and everything need to understand that there's unions that can help them with this as well.
Yeah, there are. Julian, thanks for your call. Really appreciate it. 011-883-0702. Nicholas, you are in Pretoria. Hi, welcome.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
I'm trying, Nick, especially this morning. It's a bit tough. How are you?
I'm okay. I like your question that you said, how can we reduce the accidents? I think I propose your question to be one of the topics for the national dialogue, the dialogue that they're going to have. I really think it must be one of the topics. I think they must include it. How can we reduce accidents, especially when we are approaching towards the December season, because a lot of people are dying on the road. So I did try to think of things that cause accidents. Number one is the roads are very narrow. You must imagine now that the roads is just a double, two cars driving at 120 in opposite directions, only separated by a white line. That white line, even if a car steps on it, doesn't know it's on the wrong side of the road. So the government needs to enlarge the roads. They need to build bigger roads. And when they build roads, they should make it one way. They mustn't put two cars going in opposite direction on the same road. It's going to cause head-on collisions. So, because what happens there, one car, especially at night, one car has got lights. So the car that is, you're facing oncoming traffic, and those lights, some of these new cars have got Zener lights. You see these new cars have got these LED lights. So those LED lights, they are very bright, and they some people's eyesight, they blind people that are driving. So those kind of things, to avoid cars the lights hitting you in your face, they need to make it one-way roads. We should close all the two-way roads, and then government needs to invest money in building on one-way roads. And then the other one is...
Nick said, sadly, we don't have time for another one, but that's simply because it's 9:30 and I have to take Eyewitness News. I apologize profusely for that. Please stay tuned and we'll come back with your calls. Hilton, Anonymous, and many others. Selma and many others will come back to you on 011-883-0702, 29 minutes to 10. Eyewitness News headlines with Aurelie Kalinga. Aurelie, hi.
Good morning. Thank you. Social Development spokesperson Lumka Oliphant says she'll not be unfairly pushed out of the department. Oliphant was suspended on Monday for allegedly leaking information to the Sunday Times newspaper about the department's 3 million rand travel expenses. She's denied the accusations, claiming she previously sat in meetings where her work and that of her team was ridiculed. Cape Town residents are fearing for their lives amid a gang war. 3 children aged 10, 14 and 16 along with an adult were shot and wounded by 6 suspects in Hanover Park. Police are still searching for the gunmen. And a U.S. federal jury has ordered Google pay about $425 million for gathering information from smartphone app users, even when people opted for privacy settings. The jury verdicts came in at the end of the trial in San Francisco. Plaintiffs argue that Google intercepted, tracked, collected and sold their mobile information. Those are the headlines, this Eyewitness News and more at 10 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by cars.co.za. Let's find what moves you. Amo, good morning. What's happening on our roads?
Good morning, Thabo. Well, we've got an accident on the N3 North. It happened right near Marlborough Drive. It's causing heavy delays coming out of Modderfontein Road. About a 20-minute hold up there. So please be on the lookout and approach with care. If you are traveling on the N12 as well as the R24 West, bumper-to-bumper traffic between the Edenville Road exit and the Kilulis turn off. There's still queuing traffic along the R24 East between Marshall Street and the Kilulis off-ramp due to an earlier accident. And then please do remember to be on the lookout for those roadworks that are taking place along the N17 West in the Boksburg area, causing delays between Carnival City and the R21 Rondebolt Road. I'll have more updates for you at the top of the hour. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. Majestic handling. A V8 horsepower that is.
This is very annoying. I'm trying to read a car radio advertisement.
Whatever car you want to buy or sell, cut through the and just go to cars.co.za and let's find what moves you. Cars.co.za.
This September, Joburg Theatre brings you a powerful mix of drama, music, and dance. Dancing the Death Drill, adapted from Fred Khumalo's acclaimed novel, tells the tale of Pito Mutaung, a South African soldier forever changed by the tragic sinking of the SS Mendi. The cast features Kwenzo Ngobo, Tuli Tabete, and Clint Brink, with choreography by Luyanda Sidia and original music by Msaki. This is a story of love, loss, and remembrance. Catch it from 9 to 28 September 2025 on the Mandela stage at Joburg Theatre. Dancing the Death Drill, a moment in history brought to life. Book now at joburgtheatre.com.
Year in, year out, we're fixing tires faster than a Formula One pit crew. My team is on top of things like tire whisperers. If an unforeseen accident were to happen in my workshop, at least I've got My Way business insurance to keep the wheels turning.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's and standard rates apply. My Way. Live your way.
Light the fire this game day with a winning lineup from Checkers. Like Steakhouse Classic man-size club steak for 130 Rand per kilo. Monster Energy Drink 500 mils, any 2 for 29 Rand, save 24%. And Fanta Sprite or Stony Soft Drink 2 litres, any 2 for 35 Rand, save 13%. Light the fire, South Africa, and let Checkers do the rest. Deals valid until this Sunday, only at Checkers.
Back by popular demand, legendary jazz icon Kenny G will be performing at the Super Bowl at Sun City on Friday, the 3rd of October. Get ready for an unforgettable night of timeless hits and pure musical magic. Get your tickets from webtickets.co.za. Brought to you by Breakout Events and 702.
702.
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
24 minutes to 10 o'clock. It's an open line all the way till 10, so feel free to venture any idea, any thought that you'd like to present to us. I had put one or two things on the table. One of the matters that I've raised is a story covered by the Star newspaper, today's edition, wherein they mentioned that 14 people died in a week on our roads due to road accidents, fatalities on our roads. particularly in and around Johannesburg and Gauteng. That's scary. 14 people dying on our roads in just a few days, in just 1 week. I'd love to hear from you. What should we do about this? You sent your voice notes to 072 702 1702.
Hi, Thabo. Sue here. I really think this is a critically important discussion. I see people going through red lights every single day, and this is not just taxis. This is ordinary people. They don't even wait. It's not even the end of the robot when it turns orange and goes red, but even in the middle of the robot, they'll go right through the red. There's no consideration for other drivers. And it makes you wonder. I think in my 30 years or 40 years of driving here in Johannesburg, I don't think I've ever seen a traffic cop stopping somebody for bad road behavior. All they do is they sit on the side of the road. Either they speed trap or they stop and they look at taxis and whether they've got roadworthies or not. This is shocking, and I think that we really need to somehow to change the whole environment. Thank you. Bye.
Good morning. It's Jeannie speaking. I just want to say, we stay in Moretta Park, but the taxis around here, I try to stay calm. You try not to react, but this cannot go on. It's totally lawless. They drive on the wrong side of the road. You've just got to give way and accept it. And that is what I do not accept. Why is this got to go on? Why must they get away with it? They're causing so many deaths. And we've got to stay calm. Thanks, 702, for taking this up.
Morning, Thabo and team. Maparero report. I'm a chill driver. I'm an adaptive driver. When I'm delivering in the suburbs, I rush. Everyone is always in the rush. You might be overtaken, and then 2 houses down, and then someone just turn into the house. That's what happened in the BEPS. Everyone is in their hurry. But when I go to the cars, everyone is chilled. No one is in a hurry. Everyone is just chilled. So I adapt.
Turn right onto. Okay. Speaking of roads, 10 right. Yeah, that's quite interesting. If you've just joined us, we're speaking about 14 deaths on our roads in the past week. And we are asking about action to be taken. How should we carry ourselves on the roads? The levels of inconsideration high. People are happy to just be angry at you, pull zap signs, pull down the window, and just scream at you and give you nasty faces. Even when they're doing wrong things, you're not supposed to say anything. You're not supposed to react. I agree with you. I agree with that voice note. Apparently, we must all remain calm when chaotic behavior is happening all around us. It's stressful. And our roads are becoming graveyards. Literally graveyards, because that's where we lose so many good individuals. I'll say it again. 14 people in a week dying on our roads. 14. 5 just yesterday. Just yesterday, 5 on our roads dying because of accidents. 5. No. Am I exaggerating? Am I just being the drama? Oh, that's too heavy. 011-883-0702. You've been holding for some time, Hilton. I really appreciate your patience. I don't take it lightly. Welcome. You're in Parkhurst.
Yeah, good morning. I've been obviously driving for 20 odd years to and from work, and there's no doubt that there's a deteriorating driving phenomenon going on. My view is that there's just a complete lack of discipline and self-discipline amongst all drivers. I think it's spearheaded by the lawlessness of taxis, which drive on the wrong side of the road, push in, fail to indicate, stop mean. Red means, in their world, often means go, and green means stop, and it's just completely lawless. And sadly, that phenomenon has spilled over into the non-taxi drivers, because if the taxi drivers can act with impunity in suburbia, then why can't everybody else? And so we've got this sort of it's almost a metaphor for a deteriorating social compact. And I just think that public conduct at the moment is in a way almost, it's almost like a disease. It's almost like the lawlessness is almost become a sort of a condition that everybody is affected by. and it just seems to just deteriorate further.
It's
and
become
further.
a norm, right? It's become a norm.
It's an absolute norm, yeah. And this lack of self-discipline, this lack of discipline, for me, is front and center of the whole thing. And of course, all the other very, very smart things that have been said: lack of visible policing, lack of consequence management. And frankly, I honestly think these taxi associations, we almost need an American type of class action where you bring them to you arrest this nonsense. I mean, I can understand your average taxi driver is under tight deadlines. He's got to move people from A to B. He earns a pittance. That's not obviously that's the person who must must face consequences with visible policing. But the taxi associations are not doing enough. They're too busy bloody well burning things and going off to and doing bad things at shopping centres.
Hilton, before you go, I want to take you up on what you said, and I think we must take that very seriously. It's not simple at all, that self-discipline. And I think that's a very important thing because it starts with you and I, right? When all is said and done, we'll come to the associations, and I'm not excusing them because I have no reason to, but I think centrality of your profound messaging here is self-discipline, because if Thabo, if Hilton acts in a way that is considerate to others, where he realizes that he's not the only person and he must exercise self-discipline, then it becomes easier for all of us. And if I have that level of self-discipline, I'll obey the rules of the road. I'll overtake on the right side when it's safe to do so, and I will stop when I need to, and I will yield when I need to. But that is not evident at all. And lastly, the people who are perpetuating all of that, they happen to be the very ones who are loud on government issues. And I'm not saying people shouldn't raise government issues, but I'm saying if we want accountability, it must start with us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And car disobedience is frankly a metaphor for greater other disobedience.
Yeah.
It feeds into an ever-broadening system of non-compliance, reckless disregard, and in fact crime. So you have to arrest it.
Flagrant contravention of rules. Yeah.
Exactly.
Thanks, man. We have to leave it at that, Hilton. I think it was a very interesting call. Really appreciate your time. Very quickly, I'll come to you in a second, Thado and Thandeka. In 1 second, I must read some voice messages that have come through. The blame on bad driving must go to officials who are selling learner and driver licenses, and I would like to understand people who are in South Africa with their home country's licenses, where they trained their country to drive in South Africa. Which driving school did they get training from? And this message comes from MJ. Another message says the world has become a lonely place. People are hurting. They're struggling with demands of life. They are stressed. It seems we have lost the ability to connect with one another, to hold space, to be vulnerable. The loneliness suffocating us as humanity. Hi, Thabo. The government should make the use of booze cap device mandatory. It prevents drunk driving at the source. The car will not start if alcohol is detected. For once, they need to be proactive so that we don't have such conversations about our carnage on our roads. Sally in Pretoria. As long as people buy driver's licenses, I'm afraid we shall see more accidents on our roads. That's one of the messages that came through on 072 702 1702. 15 minutes to 10. We go straight to Tato in Pretoria. Tato, hi, welcome.
Bratawo, you know what? I agree with firstly what you said, that we are hypocrites. And the previous caller, like he just said it straight to the point. The problem is we demand accountability from everyone else, but we offer none ourselves. I mean, we demand police visibility and law enforcement, but for the law to be effective, we as citizens need to abide by it. And mind you, the road rules and regulations are meant to keep us safe, everyone. And I mean, pedestrians and drivers. And I mention pedestrians because they too are very reckless. You get what I'm saying? And the minute they get knocked over, then it comes back to the driver that he was reckless. But you guys are crossing the road without looking. So, but my problem, essentially, it's not even about the road and whatnot. It boils down to humanity. You know, as a race, we are very selfish beings. We are very corrupt. Like the previous caller said it's a societal thing. What's happening on the road is a reflection of wider humanitarian issues. You get what I'm saying? We are very reckless. We are very selfish. We don't want to look at things on a broader scale. It's always about me.
Yeah.
And that, I feel, the minute we start fixing that element of us as human beings, that, you know what, it needs to start with me. I don't care. Don't tell me about the government and who should, because the government is a bunch of people, but mind you, it's a bunch of people, and they're going to put themselves first, because that's what people do. They look out for themselves first. So that's just my take on it. And
You and I
feel
both, bro. You and I
we need
both.
to look at us first before we start pointing fingers elsewhere.
You've said it all. You've said it all, Tato. Really appreciate it. Thandeka, you've also been holding for some time. I don't take that lightly. The floor is yours. I'm quiet.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm trying. I'm free. I'm thrilled that you could hold so long. Thank you. How are you?
No problem. It's been a pleasure to holding so long, because I want to direct the issue of waitresses and all those informal jobs, as people call them. But in honesty, those jobs, they feed families.
Yes, ma'am.
Those jobs, they clothe kids. Those jobs, they give hope to people who are reaching to their destination of their desired occupations, because no one wakes up in the morning and say, I want to be a waitress.
Yeah.
No one wakes up in the morning and say, I want to wash people's dishes or saliva.
Yeah.
But people underlook those jobs, and then at the end of the day, we're even being labeled as South Africans per se. They say we are lazy, or we choose jobs, not forgetting the labor and the skeletons behind those jobs. You are right. The waitresses, especially, I will comment on that part, because I've been a waitress for like 10 years in my life, since I was 18 up to the age of 28. And jumping from one job to another, people, they look at your CV, they think you're unstable or you can't keep a job, but you're just running away from being told that when you want to go and take lunch, they ask you, do you want to take lunch or do you want to make money? I mean, it's crazy. You understand? And at least as waitresses, maybe we do make that money and stuff. But companies now, they've gone to a point where they even select who they want to employ based on your nationality, number one. And people are thinking it's those posi or informal restaurants, but also well-known brands and restaurants.
Yeah.
People that they trusted in lives, saying,
Definitely.
oh, this food is good. This, yeah, I know, I trust this place. I know nothing can happen here. If they would know what's going on behind closed doors, they would never even eat in that place.
Yeah.
But I'm not about the hygiene part.
Yeah.
So
it's a show for another day, right?
Yeah, that's one is for another day. But it's crazy how we underlook the tipping and how we think when I give a waiter 50 Rand, they will receive that 50 Rand. Only to know maybe they'll just receive 10 Rands from that.
Exactly. No, I think you've raised important issues, Thandeka, and these things help when you engage with waitresses, waiters, and people who are serving us whenever we are in meetings at restaurants and so on. It also humanizes the problem, because we realize that we are all the same. People find themselves in difficult situations and they've got to do jobs that they've got to do. They don't necessarily love those jobs, but the least we could do is try to raise our voices on their behalf, because they are fighting for their survival. Hence, we said, let's put this under the spotlight today, especially for those who are voiceless. Thandeka, really appreciate your time. 011-883-0702. Let's see who else has been holding the longest. Buhle, you in the East End. Hi, Buhle, welcome.
Hi, good morning, Tata. How are you?
I'm free, bro. How's it going?
Yeah, I'm a bit hurt. Yesterday, the accident you're speaking about on N1, I was unfortunate to drive and we were one of the first cars on scene. I stopped, obviously, and I tried to assist, and it was horrible to see. It was horrible to see. There were bodies everywhere.
Oh, no.
It was a very scary scene. But when I stood there and I looked up and I looked at this vehicle that was upside down, now overturned. I looked at the rear back tire and the condition that it was in.
Yeah.
And you realize that that's what caused it. Obviously, there's other factors like speed and how the person was operating, but the condition of the tire. And at that particular point, I realized that was not an accident scene. It was actually a murder scene, my brother, because the owner of the taxi, and I think now we need to get into this conversation where the person, and particularly for yesterday's one, has to be charged with a case of actual murder, because that vehicle was not in any condition to be on that road. It was really sad to see. There was mothers, fathers in that taxi. People were deceased, and you could see people are on their way to work to attend to their families. People didn't get home because of that.
I'm sorry you had to witness that, Buhle. I'm terribly sorry that you had to see all of that. But I'm glad that you were kind enough to stop and try to find out what was the issue, what had happened. Thanks for the call. Daniel in the Val, hi.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm trying my best. How are you?
I'm well, thanks. I'm just about, to be honest with you, when it comes to road rage, the issue I always pointed out that if you are driving a smaller car, you are always going to be taken up the right. And I'm just making that as, like now, I'm driving a smaller car and I don't have my left mirror. That happened in something. Someone was driving on a yellow lane, and because they couldn't go past, the guy just came in and smashed my mirror, and he just drove off, and he even started swearing at me like it was something like that.
You mean right now?
I'm driving without a mirror now as we speak.
Oh no! Oh no!
I don't have a mirror, and all those kind of things. I always say these guys who are driving these new fast cars, the big cars. If you are driving a smaller car, then you are nothing, and you are regarded as, I don't know what they look at. Maybe they think that we are not, these things that we're driving are not cars because they are the most expensive. And the other part is the taxis. Most of the taxis that are operating in our roads, the disc and whatever that thing, they are not roadworthy. You find a taxi that is driving in your area that you and your family going in each and every day, the seat are torn. You can even see the floor while you are actually sitting inside the taxi. But we go into it each and every day. How do we expect to live? Where else we attend into such things? We agree that we're going to go into those kind of taxis. We're not standing firm that we're not going to actually risk our lives, because that is like putting yourself in a suicide matter. You're going to actually donate yourself to this kind of people, because what they want is money, and whatever happens after that, they do not care. Tomorrow they'll go and get another taxi again that is refurbished, and the government is okay with that.
You know,
so
Daniel, and the issue of the attitude of those who are driving huge SUVs and has come up a number of times. I'm wondering to what extent is the attitude on the road connected to the type of vehicle that is being driven. Please let us know. Mpumlwana, you are in Joburg. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, try and Mpumlwana, what's up? What's on your mind?
I'm all right, thanks. I hope I have time.
A little bit. Yeah.
I'm a waiter.
Okay.
Working at a steakhouse. I don't know if we can mention the steakhouse, but the steakhouse. So what's happening?
Yeah.
What's happening there is the Department of Labor comes, they give the food, they write a few statements, they don't come back. So we have a huge issue of non-compliance in terms of the minimum wage. We're not getting it, only getting commission and the tips. The owner has other shops. He takes the tips from the waiters, right? On our side, I had an incident last month where my commission exceeded what I'm supposed to get, and he told me that I had a cap, so I can't pass that amount of money. So basically, he stole the money that I made.
What?
Because he was like, there's a cap that I cannot reach. So when I confronted him about it, that this is demoralizing, what's the point of me pushing sales for me not to earn what I was supposed to earn? He says, if you're not happy, you can stay at home.
How banna?
Yeah.
You see, this is what I'm talking about.
You are even getting this amount of money.
Goodness me, Mpumlwana, goodness me. I'm terribly sorry about that. Clearly, we need to do more follow-ups on this. Oh, and this comes from someone in the industry, straight from the horse's mouth. So we're not making all of these things up. I mean, how do you own a restaurant and treat your people like this as well? How do you do that? Let's squeeze in the last quick call. Adifele. Is it Adifele or Adifele? Hi, morning in Pretoria. Adifeli Ditaba. You are on. Go ahead, Adifeli. Welcome.
Yeah. My observation, Thabo, is that we are people that are inconsiderate to each other. The people that we as the communities and as the South Africans, the bad driving that we do on the road, we don't even consider the next vehicle. I've seen in many incidents where a person drives recklessly, but when an accident happens, it doesn't affect that person alone. It's the other innocent car, which is a mother of 3 or a father of 7 or 5, that the kids are waiting at home. In the accident, you don't even consider that you're going to turn the poor kids into orphans. So those are some of the things that when we drive, we only consider ourselves to arrive where we're going, to arrive and safely, without considering all the aspects that I've mentioned.
We have to leave it at that, Adifeli, but we are leaving it on a sad note that when we are reckless on our roads, driving so crazily, we are creating orphans and widows unknowingly. 3 minutes to 10.
702 delivers
on the matters that matter to you.
I'm Deirdre from Oakden. I've probably been listening to 702 for about 40 years. I listen most of the day, and I really can't imagine my life or my day without 702. I'm kept up to date with all the news, and I must say that I personally believe I hear the news before anybody else. When I hear it on 702, nobody else has heard it yet. And I'd just like to say, keep up the good work.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts,
so we can deliver more on what matters to you.
702 listens.
Let's walk the talk.
One festival, endless flavor, and 2 unforgettable days of timeless music. The DSTV Delicious International Food and Music Festival, powered by Lotto Star, returns on 20 and 21 September at Kyalami Grand Prix Circuit. On Saturday, the stage erupts with Don Toliver, Questa, and Nkabi Zezwe. Then on Sunday, experience the legendary Lauryn Hill, Wyclef Jean, Lyra, and more. The DSTV Delicious Festival, powered by Lotto Star. Tickets at Ticketmaster.
Mr. Govender, congrats on the retirement. You just sold your car to We Buy Cars. Tell us about it.
Yes, it just gathered dust in the garage, so I exchanged it for cold hard cash. Now my wife and I can enjoy a stress-free retirement.
Retiring the car as you retire. Nice. So why We Buy Cars?
It was so quick. They came over to our house to do the evaluation, and we sold it the same day. Tops, man.
Okay, so now you got even more time on your hands, eh?
Exactly.
We Buy Cars. Geared for your next chapter. Geared for you.
Are you looking for the best savings on spectacles? At Specsavers, enjoy 1,500 Rand off when you get tested at South Africa's trusted and most established optical group. Get 1,500 Rand off all frames in store, or use your 1,500 Rand off on our leading lens enhancements, such as drive light lenses that reduce artificial glare whilst driving. Book online or call your nearest store today. Affordable eye care, Specsavers. T's and C's apply.
Mzansi, your backyard just got better. Explore more for less because the Great South African Sale is coming with up to 50% off travel deals. From the breathtaking scenery to a beach picnic, camping in the wild, or the thrill of Gussie vibes. There's something for everyone. Book from 8 to 14 September 2025. Visit shortleft.co.za to book and travel later. After all, it's your country. Enjoy it, because nothing's more fun than a short left. Hashtag TravelWise Mzansi. T's and C's apply.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Aurélie Kalenga. Social Development spokesperson Lumka Olifant says she will not be unfairly pushed out of the department. Olifant was suspended on Monday for allegedly leaking information to the Sunday Times newspaper about the department's 3 million rand travel expenses. She's denied the accusation, claiming she previously sat in meetings where her work and that of her teams was ridiculed.
So this thing has been happening, but I have been quiet. I've been trying to make sure that I keep the decorum, the respect. I have been trying to make sure that I continue with my work because I was not appointed and I'm not a employee of any political party in that department.
Childline South Africa is concerned at the high pregnancy rate among minors in the country. The Eastern Cape government yesterday revealed over 100 children between the ages of 10 and 14 gave birth between April and July this year. In the same period, close to 5,000 teenagers also gave birth. Provincial police have since opened several cases against adults accused of raping minors. Childline's Dumiseli Cele says this is common across the country.
The numbers you are quoting are alarming, and this is the situation we have been experiencing for the past few years. And obviously, we encourage communities, professionals, because these young people go through the hands of professionals to report such matters.
Cape Town residents are fearing for their lives amid a gang war. 3 children aged 10, 14 and 16 along with an adult were shot and wounded by 6 suspects in Hanover Park. Police are still searching for the gunmen. Lauren Isaacs has more.
Gang and gun violence, a daily reality for residents in several Cape Town communities. This is the sound of gunshots being fired in Hanover Park while residents were making their way to work just after 5:30 yesterday morning. The Hanover Park Community Policing Forum's Kashifa Mohammed says the situation is unacceptable.
At this moment, there's this gang war amongst each and every gang in Hanover Park, and we as community must fear for our lives. This gangsters is keeping us hostage 24/7 in our community, and we're so fed up about this.
Cape Town has been marred by a surge in deadly gang violence recently, and law enforcement has been beefed up in identified gang hotspots. Lauren Isaacs, Eyewitness News.
Gun-Free South Africa has raised concern following a bizarre situation in the Cape Town CBD involving a naked man firing several gunshots with a police firearm. Officers say while trying to arrest him, he grabbed one of their guns and fired at least 3 shots, 2 of them to the ground. He was eventually arrested. Executive Director of Gun-Free South Africa, Stanley Maphosa.
The incident in the CBD is deeply concerning, but unfortunately not surprising in a country flooded with guns. What it highlights very starkly is just how dangerous and destabilizing firearms are when they fall into the wrong hands.
And Ezemvelo KwaZulu-Natal Wildlife says it has no intention of refencing its property after a camper was attacked by a hyena at its Cape Vidal campsite. Farmer Nicholas Holtz was attacked by 2 hyenas while sleeping in his tent at the weekend. He says his leg and face were wounded in the attack.
The bigger one latched onto my ankle, and as I sat up to see why I was in so much pain, the smaller one bit me in the face.
Ezemvelo KZN Wildlife spokesperson Musantambo says there have been 3 hyena attacks in the park in the last 15 years and 2 more last month.
There are hyenas, 2 or 3, that often roam around the campsite. We'll try and capture those with a view of maybe translocating them. The campsite is fenced, but for the elephants, not for maybe say any other animals.
Ntambo says they intend educating visitors not to leave food outside the campsite. Gold is trading at $3,526, 6 cents an ounce. The rand's at 17.70 to the dollar, 23.77 to the pound, 20.63 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $67.10 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got heavy delays on the N3 North. This is between Modderfontein Road and Marlborough Drive due to a major accident scene. Please be on the lookout there. About a 30-minute hold-up already. While traveling out of Sharon Lee, delays on Malibongwe Drive due to another accident scene that's been reported after Beles Drive causing delays.
Gauteng's fine today, highs between 29 and 31 degrees. The top story in Eyewitness News this hour. Social Development spokesperson Lumka Olifant says she'll not be unfairly pushed out of the department.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
702.
Live
On the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7.
and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
Welcome back. 6 minutes after 10 o'clock. You're on 702. It's really great to have you with us. And if you joined us in the previous hour, you'd remember that we had an open line and we touched on this, that, and the other, especially about the service industry, weigh-in, waitrons, car guards, people who are working in the scullery are not treated so well. No basic salaries for some of them. And this is not to say that there aren't any restaurants that treat their staff with dignity. We are reflecting on those who don't do that. So if the shoe fits, you know what to do. And also, we were also having a chat about our behavior on the roads. Goodness me, why are we so angry? 14 people who have died in the past week. And I'm glad that you participated so actively, holding ourselves to account on the roads. The show continues, and as you would know, I'm not changing furniture. Even though Clement is not here, I keep things the way they ought to be. And one of those is a hanging out feature that happens every Thursday between 10 and 11, which is what you look forward to all week. And we usually have great guest, and today's no exception at all, because we have Sis Nambitha Mpumlwana in the studio, who'll be joining us and sharing this, that with us, and just literally hanging around with us, shooting the breeze. Just shooting the breeze. You know so much about her, an actress of note. But let's start officially.
Let's walk the talk.
702.
She needs no introduction at all, on stage, on our screens, and even on the picket line. She is raising views to support actresses, actors, and people in the industry. Her presence on stage and on our screens is second to none. She adds sincerity to every character she plays. She elevates the level of performances that we have in our country. And just to be honest, she is truly among the best that we have ever produced in the country. And it's my pleasure to welcome you, Sis Nambitha. Great having you with us. Welcome to 702.
I have no words.
You must. We've got about 51 minutes to go. You better have some words. Are you good?
I used to call this place my home, and I walked in here.
Yeah.
And I walked to the reception.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to introduce myself.
Yeah.
And then I look up to look at the person who was going to sign me in. I see my face on the wall.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh.
That's me.
So I burst out laughing.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, holy smokes. I was about to introduce myself. She goes, yeah, now we know.
Yeah. Already.
Now we know. My face, listener, my face is on the wall on the screen. Humongous. That was so flattering. Humbling as well. Thank you so much for that.
It is the very least we could do for your contribution to our society. It's the very least we could do. I'm glad that you're here, and of course we'll touch on this, that, and the other. But are you not used to that red carpet welcome? And I'm saying this on the backdrop of South Africans generally not taking note of the contribution of the arts, and perhaps the arts not occupying a place that they deserve in our society as prominently. And I'll say that again, and I'll give you a chance to respond to that, because whenever a politician walks into a funeral service, walks into a restaurant, all of us, we now give attention to them.
Yes.
But I'm wondering, is that the same in the arts?
Is that the red carpet treatment?
The red carpet treatment.
I'm about to take off my jacket right now because this is a lot.
Yeah.
That red carpet treatment is a double-edged sword. And I don't want you, listener, to think that I am ungrateful for the attention or ungrateful for the lauding, the applause and all of that. It comes with the job.
Yeah.
And when people appreciate your work, then people want to let you know that they appreciate you and that they appreciate your presence in whatever space that they occupy. So there is that. And I've had to learn, actually, my dad taught me to just calm myself down. And I'll tell you why. I am not a very outgoing person. I'm not an extrovert. And but my job is very public, and I always try to tell people I go to work just like you. I put my pants on one leg at a time, just like you. I grew up in a farm, and all I listened to in the morning were birds, and then milking the cow and herding the cows and getting my eggs from the chicken coop. So I am that person every day that I walk onto set. Every day that I'm walking on the red carpet, I'm still that person. That stillness is prime to me. So when I walk into a space and there's this loudness of, oh my gosh, she's here. Oh, hello. I have to, take a breath. And if I had not prepared myself for it, it can be overwhelming. Now, this is where I was saying my dad comes in. He taught me that for me, it is a moment of maybe even inconvenience at best. But for the person that is meeting me, not me meeting them, but that is meeting me, it is an event. And so I need to get myself towards myself, so to speak, and deal with the fact that this person is having an event in their life, and I need to acknowledge it and honor it.
I have to, before we even continue, let our listeners know that we are also live on YouTube and also on my TikTok. But feel free to just check out our discussion. Radio, of course, has changed over the years.
You don't tell a diva to put on some makeup because you're going to DVD me just now.
So I thought, let me bring it to your attention. If you want to join us on YouTube Live, 702 YouTube Live, you are most welcome to do so. And see Sis Nambitha, and then we can continue the discussion. I'll also try to put on camera on TikTok. Okay, but Sis Nambitha, is there a role that you still want to play that you haven't played? I'll come back to the other stuff that you've done. But I'm just wondering, because we are perpetually on a journey to upgrade ourselves, to get to a higher level and to become better. Is there any single role that you feel that this, God willing, no matter what, I must play this role?
I don't think there is any actor who can answer that. The most honest answer I can tell you is, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's it. So, Market Theatre calls me one day, and Uzodwa, she's gone now, she's Usandulele. Usizodwa calls me and she says, come and do a little workshop, for the week. I'll pay you. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll come. And I was in the middle of a meeting. And I was, no problem, I'll come. She goes, I'll pay you. I'm like, yeah, don't worry about it.
I'll be there.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
Go into the workshop. Turns out that, there's a writer who needs actors to just, bring the pages to life before they decide if they're going to mount it. And so I had no expectations of any kind. Then the following year, December, she says, oh, by the way, do you want to come and play this role? I'm like, yeah, sure, let's do it.
Yeah.
I'm like, on stage? She goes, yeah. Now, I'd been saying to her that, I want to go back to stage. I want to just touch the stage just a little bit. It kind of revives you as an actor.
Yes.
So here I am on stage playing the role of Winnie Madikizela Mandela at the Market Theatre.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at this and I'm like, when I saw people showing me videos of me playing Winnie Mandela on stage.
Yes.
Then I said, this is a good role. Not during rehearsals, not during the workshop, not when I'm on stage, but seeing me through other people's eyes. I'm like, yeah. So until I played her, I didn't know that I would have wanted that. So as an actor, you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So there may be things that will come to you or come at you.
Yeah.
And once you're in it, then you go, oh, I needed that. It's like a good cup of coffee.
Yeah. And you only realize when you take a sip.
When you take a sip and you go, oh yeah.
I really needed that.
I needed that.
Where's home?
Mthatha.
Okay.
Mthatha Nambithana. Efama.
Oh, really? So, typical rural girl.
Farm girl. There's a difference between the rural girl
and farm
the
girl.
Farm girl.
But you farm specifically.
Yeah, none is better. It's just different kinds of different lifestyle. So in the farm, there's nobody else there, just you.
Yeah, yeah.
And the cows or the chickens,
Yeah.
whatever you're herding. And it is such a beautiful life. And
Yeah.
it's such a still and quiet life. And my grandmother loved baking.
Yeah.
And so she passed that on to me, and cooking, of course. So, experimenting with food. So that was our language, and we'd sit still. Now it's the two of us in the kitchen, but we're baking, and it's quiet. Except for the clickety clanking of the dishes and the pans.
Yeah.
So that stillness, was just kind of, ground into me from little. So being a farm girl, there's also a stubbornness that comes with this, and a determination that comes with it. And there's nobody to tell you can't, because you don't have a choice but to do.
Then, where then did you conceive this idea of you occupying our screens permanently, bedazzling us with great talent, impersonating so perfectly various characters, so much that we believe that it's you?
I'm turning burgundy as I'm listening to you. I really, honestly, never thought that this could be a career. I just knew that I came alive when I got on stage. So when I get on stage, a part of me just takes over, and it is such a glorious feeling. And when I was about 4 years old, I watched a play by Gibson Kent.
Yeah.
And I say this with pride and humility at the same time, because I was sitting in the front row because I was little, and on stage were these people that were communicating in a way that I've never seen anybody communicate. And keep in mind, I spent my days with my grandmother in the kitchen in silence. This was even more powerful. It had something in it that defied language. And so I'm watching this and I'm feeling this. And at the end of it, I said, I want to do that. I didn't think I want to be an actor, but I want to that way of communicating from one soul to another. I want that.
You must tell us what was the name of the play, if you remember.
I don't remember. I think it could have been Sikalo or How Long.
Yeah.
One of those early ones.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
I mean, it was 1970.
Yeah.
So it was a long time ago, but I don't remember which one it is.
Oh, sure. Speaking of plays, anyone that sticks out for you that you think, good work? There should be many, I know. But is there one or two where you're thinking, very good production, I love the storyline. Generally, it's one of my favorites.
I think it's about the impact more than the storyline. Because you, as an actor, you're not carrying the storyline, but you are hosting a character. So you are hosting this person that is living her life, or his life in your case. And sorry, I have to apologize. I'm just getting over a flu. So my voice comes in and out.
No, don't worry. We're all going through that. I think change of season.
Yeah.
We're a bit croaky. Don't worry about it.
I am a bit croaky.
Sure.
So one of the, to get back to your question, one of the roles that, for some reason it hit me before, it hit me during, and then it hit me after, and it had a great significance in my life as well, and I'll tell you in a moment why. I played the character, the role of Harriet Tubman.
Really?
It was still very early in my career, so I was still a kid, so I didn't quite get the magnitude.
Yeah.
But it needed to be at the beginning of my career because of how young she was when she did what she did. And so,
slaves.
you know when they're saying youth is wasted on the young?
Retrospectively.
I'm like, damn, yeah. So for me, that role, I learned, in learning who she is and who she was, I had to learn her philosophy, her way of thinking, her way of moving, and her way of being, and creating her, to represent her on stage. So all of that taught me a lot about, she freed slaves, for crying out loud, over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And one of the my most favorite quotes about Harriet Tubman, she says, "I freed 1,000 slaves. I would have freed more if they knew they were slaves.
That's so powerful. I mean, every time I hear that quotation,
I can see you mouthing the words as I'm saying it, because you know exactly.
I wanted you to say them because I was I was gonna bring it up. Because I mean, it's so profound in our lives that even as we are talking now, we may not know that we are slaves to certain things currently in our lives. But say more about that. Why does it touch you?
That's part of the reason why I do the work that I do at Saga, because so many of us are slaves and we don't know. And so I go around educating actors on their slavery.
I'll be coming to that because I have to confess, I had wanted to play something and...
you wanted to play some of the music?
No, the music I'm going to play, but there was a particular passage that I wanted to play to you, but I'd rather say it to you because I don't have it. And coming from Bongeni Ngemas, I think it's Township Fever, the story of Jasmine, and it's a very interesting play. When Jasmine says, I mean, right at the end of everything else, and he gets arrested for being an activist, for fighting during those difficult times. And he says, when I went to Johannesburg, I was a little boy. When I went to Kosatu House, I was a worker. And when I went to prison, I was an activist. And he's chronicling all those journeys and the evolution of his role in society based on the injustices that he had felt. And you came to mind when I realized that I'm wondering, is it by accident or design that you were such a formidable activist for actors and actresses now? You'd rather be acting if things were all okay.
If all things being equal, I want to be on stage or I want to be in front of the camera
or
behind a microphone this. I love
Isn't it the best?
Radio.
Isn't it the best thing ever?
You know, Peladi invited me one day and said, why don't you just give it a try? I'm like, I did this way back in college. I did this, and for some reason, there's a part of me that's always going. So when are we going back to race? So when Peladi said, "Come to 702," I'm like, yes, yes, yes. It's just a. Sorry, I'm answering 5 questions at the same time.
You're at home. Feel free.
It's an exciting conversation. I think one of the. Okay, ask me a question again.
Okay, the evolution of...
Who are you when?
Yes.
That's why I think I need to go back. I was raised in a family of activists. I'm going to tell you that I was raised in a church that is, back then it was called Order of Ethiopia. It's called Ethiopia today. Well, my great-grandfather was one of the people that started that church. And the reason they started that church is because they were part of the Anglican Church, or one of the reasons. They were part of the Anglican Church, and the Anglican Church would not ordain black people in South Africa. So they said, well, you don't determine my worth, I do. Now, those people raised the people that raised me. So I came by this honestly. Now, my dad, when we, were little, I remember being 8 years old, I wrote a poem about this. I remember chanting in Ebaleni in the front of the house.
Yeah.
We want Steve. Nico is our hero. I'd like you could barely speak English. Oh my gosh, there you go. I write what I like. You've got the book. So this was my vocabulary from young. And I remember also the one thing that I don't know, somebody gave me a Barbie doll with blonde hair, and he saw that and he said, "No, my child. No way, you're not gonna do that." And he literally had us ripping it up and throwing pieces of it away so that we can never put it back together again. And he said, you're not gonna grow up to look after white babies. So I'm not gonna have you have that planted in your mind. So can you imagine all those black kids that were playing with white dolls? Cradling them and looking after them and singing them lullabies. It came naturally then to go and work in the house of that white madam and cradle her baby, because you've been doing it since you were a child.
Powerful stuff. Listen, I'm being selfish. The listeners want to interact with you. I'm loving the conversation so much. I'm loving the conversation. Please feel free to call in, send your voice notes to 072-702-1702. I shouldn't monopolize the discussion. You are most welcome to do so. Abel, I'm told we have one voice note. Let's go straight to it. That came through on 072-702-1702.
Hello, Thabo. Kunontuthuzelo lona ePalm Ridge ekuroleni. Wow, whenever I think of the greatness that you have in front of you, I always say some people were born great. Usis Nambitha, she is just greatness. If we don't know what greatness looks like, that's greatness in front of you. I love you, Sis Nambitha. Thank you.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, you are greatness personified, and I suppose your humility is not going to allow you to absorb that with a certain air of arrogance. But to be honest, you are greatness personified. And when we think about greatness as far as what you do, you're one of the people who come to our minds, and this is testament to that. Do you want to say something to the lady?
Oh, Ntutu. I'm Desakaya. Oh, undithwaxile. Undithwaxile, ndiyabulela inkosi kakhulu, amatolo ayabulela. It's a reality check from time to time to hear people and how people see you because of the environment that we work in. Once you start to think highly of yourself, there's somebody ready to, as they say, put you in your place, or what they believe should be your place. And that expression of I'll put you in your place is actually very inaccurate. It's put you where I think you should be, not where you belong, not where you believe yourself to be. But when somebody then kind of recognizes you, and it elevates and it rejuvenates the soul. So I appreciate it.
Fantastic stuff. Sis Nambitha Mpumlwana is my guest. She's an actress, public speaker. She's in the arts. She does this, that, and the other. And she has taken up a fight on her shoulders to raise the issues that are facing many of those in the entertainment spaces, especially actors, actresses who are not well paid, wherein the conditions are not conducive for them to express themselves adequately as they ought to. And she needs no introduction. Remember her role in Tsotsi? I was reminding you about it a little bit earlier on, right at the beginning, where in the film her character is hijacked and they take the baby and she's frustrated and she has to do this, that, and the other. And obviously on Generations and many other productions that we will get into in a short while. If you'd like to interact with Sis Nambitha, feel free to do so. You can send a text message to 072-702-1702. Alternatively, a voice note to that very same number, or call us directly on 011-883. 0702. She knows the number off by heart.
Right.
It's almost past, and when we come back, I will venture to play one or two songs. I'm not famous for that because I enjoy I love this.
You are a talkist.
Yeah. So I'm gonna get into trouble with the producer. Why didn't you play music? We will come back with the music. She's going to slaughter me after this. It's exactly 10:30. Aurélie Kalinga joins us with Eyewitness News headlines. Good morning again, Aurélie.
A very good morning. In the headlines, the DA has welcomed the convening of a special sitting of the Stellenbosch municipality to deal with racist remarks attributed to its HR manager. Alexander Kannemeyer can be heard making discriminatory remarks about the appointment process and expressing his frustration at the hiring of white men over other races. Stellenbosch Mayor Jeremy Fasser says an internal investigation has been launched to get to the bottom of the matter. A man has been arrested in connection with a robbery on Table Mountain. The woman hiker was assaulted and her phone stolen yesterday. Rangers were dispatched after the attack and tracked down the attacker. And European leaders and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky are set to meet in Paris today in a new effort to pile pressure on Vladimir Putin after he vowed Russia would fight on in Ukraine if no peace deal was reached. Frustration's been building over what leaders say is the Russian president's unwillingness to strike a deal to end Moscow's 3.5-year invasion of Ukraine. Those are the headlines. This Eyewitness News and more at 11 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Well, travelling in Sharon Lee, we still have got heavy traffic volumes coming out of North Riding due to that major accident seen along Malibongwe Drive. It's reported right near Beles Drive, causing those massive queues there. So please be on the lookout. Travelling in Kelvin, another accident seen on the N3 North, right near the Baklu interchange. Delays from Marlborough Drive. There's also queuing traffic on the N3 North between Van Buren Road and the Kilulis interchange, while on the Mark 1 North, some issues on this route, the M1 North between Boyson's Road and the Crown interchange. Please be on the lookout and be patient on the roads. More updates coming up at the top of the hour.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
Keith asked us, who's George Goch? And I assumed I knew the answer, and I didn't. But some colleagues have been helping me, and you too. Hi, Mandy. George Goch was the second mayor of Joburg. He was also responsible for bringing in Chinese immigrants. That's according to Lee. And Andrew says the phrase, "Why said George Goch" comes from South African township and Kasi slang.
A man stand up. Point of order. Yes. Nkandla. Thixo George Goch.
You always learn something here. Now you all know who George Goch is.
The Midday Report
with Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
It's that time of the year. Sneezing, itchy, watery eyes, blocked noses and coughs. It's time to live, work, play and sleep allergy-free. For trusted relief for you and your family this allergy season, ask your pharmacist for the Adcock Ingram OTC Allergy Survival Pack. With products like Allergex Non-Drowsy, Cetacid, Levogex and more, we have you covered. Remember, Adcock Ingram OTC. And visit beprepared365.co.za.
Do you know what's hiding behind the colorful packaging of unhealthy food? Big food companies target children with unhealthy packaged foods that hide high levels of sugar, salt, and fat, which could lead to heart disease, diabetes, and hypertension. But the truth is hidden from consumers. Front of package warning labels are a proven solution to help consumers make informed decisions. The government must act now. We have the right to know what's in our food. Demand front of package warning labels. Sign the petition on heala.org, HEALA.org, by the 30th of September.
Mzansi, your backyard just got better. Explore more for less because the Great South African Sale is coming with up to 50% off travel deals. From the breathtaking scenery to a beach picnic, camping in the wild, or the thrill of Gussie vibes, there's something for everyone. Book from 8 to 14 September 2025. Visit shortleft.co.za to book and travel later. After all, it's your country. Enjoy it, because nothing's more fun than a short left. #TravelWise Mzansi. T's and C's apply.
The Money Show.
Weekday evenings at 6.
You were able to increase the transactions through your tills by around 4%. Where's that growth coming from?
We've been very well priced this year. We've focused on our key competencies, our key products like cement, and that attracted customers to our stores. So we saw a nice uptick in the number of customers coming through the doors.
Werner Diachat, CEO at Cash Build Limited.
The Money Show
on 702. 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show, Stephen Curtis, is brought to you by APSA CIB, proud sponsor of the SARA Rail Conference 2025. Your story matters. APSA is a registered FSP.
702.
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
25 to 11. Thanks for joining us. Thabo Shole-Mashao in for Clement. We're together till 12, and this is the Hangout feature. My guest needs no introduction at all. Sis Nambitha Mpumlwana is in front of me here in studio. Feel free to send those messages through, and I will try to read some of them that have come through. 011-883-0702, 011-883-0702, and we'll go to some of your text messages and your voice notes. Let's go to voice notes first, Abel.
Hi, Thabo. Morning to the 702 listeners. I'm so happy. Thank you for bringing us to this Nambitha Bantu. Thank you so much. That is one of our most exceptional talents in this country, and I don't know if we appreciate it enough. You know, when I first saw Sis Nambitha, it was probably 97, because I remember I was a student. And being that young, having to come across such talent, and she was on stage with so many other superstars, but she stood out. The play was called Black Age. Yaipalo Babuslayelo Maredi from Alex. Bayamazi Babuslayelo Maredi. He was an exceptional writer himself and a director. So that play was amazing, and she stood out. I remembered her from that day forward. So when I started seeing her on shows like our Interrogation Room, and then she came to Generations and did all this type of thing, I just felt like, oh, Yazin, I don't think the country appreciates this enough. She's amazing. I love her, and I'm glad that she still speaks so passionately about the stage as she does nanamhlanje. We love you, sis.
Yo, no, that role when for me, she nailed it. Like, you could feel when she was saying that. Plus, everybody there was still young, man. Eh? Like no, man, I cannot explain how that. When she said that, you could feel it. Yazin lo muntu lo uyalwa zisumntana mam kum Nambitha, stay great, sis. So when you realize we've got great actors and actresses in South Africa, we just don't appreciate them like we should. And you're one of those great actors and actresses that are out there. Ngiyabonga sis for your entertainment, for isipho sakho uNkulunkulu akuphe sona. Yeah, well, God bless you more.
Beautiful stuff. One more. This text message says, Nambitha Mpumlwana, it's just a pleasure to watch on stage. Her laughter is so contagious. She just plays her role so well, and we cannot get enough of her skills. She must keep well, and may the Lord continue to bless her. We love her and see all her efforts. I hope your headphones are on, because we're going straight to a caller. Good morning. I don't want to reveal your name as yet, but good morning, ma'am. Lovely to have you with us. Welcome.
Good morning, Thabo.
Let's see if she can guess who this is. Let's see. She spoke about you a little bit earlier on, but how did the two of you meet? And clearly it became professional at some point as well.
Nambi, Mr. Magdal.
Yo, old eyes.
She's raking a brain.
Yeah, hi, Bo. So Thabo, she talked about, Piladi invited me and said, why don't you
Piladi Gwangwa, former 702 station manager.
Old eyes. What's what?
So I want to tell the people. So they're talking about, the roles that you played on stage, on screen. But the reason why I invited Nambitha onto 702 at the time wasn't any of that. I had a conversation with her, as one does in the industry, with different people. And, I was looking at her work and and then she talked about Diva Nexus and about, what is that, Diva Nexus? And she said, no, it's being a diva, being respectful. Actually being a diva is a positive thing. It's a way of life. And I listened and I was like, wow, young black girls need to hear that. Actually every young person needs to be affirmed in that space. And I wasn't surprised when then I later learned in life that she's playing this very role, behind the scenes, because she's always been about that, about impact, about positively impacting people, about inspiring, and about just engendering this positive mindset that we have about us as a people.
Any words to Sis Piladi?
This woman is one of the few people in my life who know how to shut me up.
Oh yes, oh yes.
I'm sitting here and I immediately went into obedient mode because there's the boss and then there's the friend. Peli is a beautiful friend, and we've never had this conversation. You remember? I never asked you why you called me. I just said, okay, I'll come and do it. I literally just said, yep, okay.
Yeah.
When do you want me to do it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
listening to you talking about the detail, the angle of the camera, the
Yes.
length of the skirt, and I was like,
This is the person to
And
have.
she calls and she says, what are you up to? I'm like, well, I'm in a coma right now, so I'm kind of relaxing.
Yeah.
She goes, what? I'm like, I'm in a coma.
Yeah.
Then I realized I had to explain to her that my character is in a coma. So that means I've got some free time.
It's like, how did you answer the phone if you're in a coma? I'm thinking the same thing too now.
It's that thing that
Yeah.
you are your character. Your character's life is
Yes.
parallel to yours.
Yeah.
So you might leave set, but if you're still shooting, then
Yeah.
the character lives parallel to you, and you guys live together.
Yes. Sis
Mokgotsi,
Piladi,
you are
thank
amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so keep on fighting the good fight, Nambi, and at some point we will win the battle.
Thank you so much,
Yes.
Piladi Gwangwa, former 702 station manager.
Yes.
And Mpumi is calling from Bloemfontein. Hey, Mpumi.
Hi, good day. I'm calling from Braamfontein, not Bloemfontein.
Braamfontein.
It's my eyes.
It's some kind of fontaine. Sis. Keep
Yeah,
going.
it's my eyes. I have to own that one. My eyes threw you on the other province. Go ahead, ma'am. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say, Nandipha, I love you so much. I've met her in person, but we didn't speak. I'm one person when I meet the celebrities. I kind of freeze and get shy. I will not jump into, get
We would have been
excited.
shy together.
So, yes, I noticed that about you. You are very withdrawn and shy in public. But I was so fascinated. I was invited to, I think the Gobot was one of the sisters. I'm not sure if it was
yes,
Nonkululeko, somewhere
Yes.
in Senton in the late 90s. They were opening one of their ministries.
Yes.
So we were there together. I was so fascinated, and I said to myself, this lady, she's got grace and dignity, and she's just fearless. And I wanted just to come close to this powerhouse of South African art, but I was shy, and I just wanted to hear your voice, because when we see you in TV, your voice is unique. The way you portray yourself and you act, and you are a real powerhouse, like a real pioneer. So I just wanted to sit next to you, just to hear you speak. Just to see you laugh.
I know what you're talking about. I've done that.
But I just wanted to say thank you so much for sharing your talent with the South Africans. Thank you so much for all the work that you have done. Generation Stotsi, The Cry of Winnie Mandela, all of them. You have just been the best that South Africa has. And God bless you.
Thank you so much, Mpumi. It's 16 minutes to 11 o'clock, 011-883-0702. I do want to flood you with all these nice things because we don't have you here every day, and I dominated the discussion between 10 and 10:30. So let's take that voice note, Abel, on 072-702-1702 so that you can hear it from what South Africans say about you.
Morning, Tibos, and morning to Sis Nambitha there in the studio. Tibos, I was actually watching Tsotsi, the movie recently. I watched it with my kids. And then while watching it, there's a scene where Sis Nambitha says, John Vuligate. And then I laughed because I then remembered that, oh, okay, probably the song John Vuligate Nasi Stoko was inspired by this line. Wow. I just want to say thank you to her for the entertainment that she's given us throughout the years, and may she continue to flourish in her career. We're always watching her. Thank you.
Anyone that you look up to, especially in your space, someone that you look up to and you reflect and you're saying, I don't want to be them, but they really do something for me. Their presence on stage does something.
Like an actor?
Actor, yes.
No. It's not a person but it's different traits. So some of the people that I've met, that I've worked with, have taught me a lot. And be it a good experience or a bad experience or negative experience or positive, I'm always waiting to receive something from every encounter. So I've had some beautiful encounters. I'm not name dropping, I'm just telling a story.
Sure.
So I'm in Namibia and I'm shooting Beyond Borders. Yes. And as you know, at the beginning of the movie, I'm driving the truck with Angelina Jolie. One of the things that I learned, they brought me in 2 weeks, at least 2 weeks early to teach me how to drive a truck.
Oh, okay.
Before shooting began.
Yes.
And then once we started rehearsing, I had somebody who was training me on how to drive that truck. Because I'm going to be carrying number one in that truck, they needed to make sure that she's going to be safe. That's one. That's investing in the actor and investing in the character so that I don't think about changing gears. I just perform.
Yes.
That level of investment is unheard of within our borders because for some reason they think anybody can do anything.
Yeah.
Secondly, she's talking to me we're talking about kids, family and all of that. And she's telling me she's getting ready to receive her son. Yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh, I wish my son was here. And she says, my son is going to be joining us. Yeah. I'm like, joining us where? She says, here on set, we're just getting a tent ready for where they're going to be playing. And then she looks at me and says, where's your son?
Yeah.
That day I learned that if I want something, I ask for it. Look, I always say to my son, the worst thing that could happen to you is you end up exactly where you are. But that moment, even though I knew that, which I had been teaching to my child, when she said that to me, I realized this is a right. It's not a privilege. That my son needs to be with me.
Exactly.
He must be with me.
Yeah.
And if they can bring one from overseas, they definitely can bring one from Joburg.
Across the border. Just across the border.
So those things were, those were part of some things that I took home. Morgan Freeman taught me, I was shooting in Cape Town and I said, you know what, let's do your day off, and then I just want to take you out and let's go and do this, let's go and do that.
Yeah.
He says, oh, Nambitha, I'd really love to do that, but I can't.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but you don't have time, what's going on? And then he became still, and then I knew he was about to say something that was personal to him. He says, there are a lot of things that I cannot do. And I said, okay, I'm listening. And he says, when I go out, I am experiencing things, but when people see me, it's an event.
Yeah.
I don't feel like being part of an event today.
Oh my goodness me.
I was like, that's why I love my house. He just put vocabulary to my feelings.
Yeah.
So,
amazing.
That's why I love being in my house.
It makes so much sense.
Right.
I desperately need to take a break. We'll come back in a short while.
Okay.
10 minutes to 11 o'clock.
Aubrey Masango.
Weekday evenings,
8 to midnight.
An 81-year-old doctor from Free State has admitted to putting a man in a shallow grave who were coming to, according to him, attack his farm. He claims that he buried that man because that man's body would have been eaten by the jackal. Not too long ago, we were dealing with a story of a farmer and his accomplices killing 2 black women and feeding them to the pigs. Things have been happening in the farm. And I hope that people like Donald Trump and his friends here in South Africa are watching these stories unfold.
Aubrey Masango.
8 to midnight on 702.
702.
Love is patient. Love is kind. Love is hopeful. But
love can make you do unbelievable things.
is love shocking? What kind of love is this? Is love blind?
If love was a person, it would be Dr. Nambitha.
Is love worth it?
Her light was not there anymore.
Would you cross the line for love? Watch Beauty and the Bester, 12 September, only on Netflix. Basic plan from 99 Rand per month. T's and C's apply.
Swing into spring with Hollywood Bet Spinner Zonke, where a sea of floral fun, epic adventures, and blooming beautiful games await. Reap red-hot riches and whimsical wins with our sparkling spring-themed slots. The season's luck is in full bloom, so dive in and grab your chance to unravel an endless supply of thrilling treasures and claim sensational rewards when you bet now. T's and C's apply.
Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008.
Live extra at Checkers, SA's #1 value for money supermarket, and save on Knox Sparkling Hydration Drink 500 mils, any 2 for 28 Rand. Domestos Power Foam 450 mils for 46.99, and Ina Parman's product range. Buy any 3 and save 20%. Valid until Sunday at Checkers, Checkers Hyper, or shop on 6060.
702.
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
Sis Nambitha Mpumlwana is my guest, and we have been hanging out since 10 o'clock.
Should I say Thabo?
No, please, no. Hey, you really got me. You really got me because I'm always on a tirade about that. You know, you got me. Okay, you win, Nambitha. You win. You win. You win. Before you go, I have to bring this up. You're an activist in the space. And I must tell the listeners, you chose to forego your songs for this conversation.
And I love my music.
You love your music, but you
music.
chose to so that we can conclude some of the important parts, and we can't leave out your activism. You feel that actresses and actors are not well paid. You feel that the conditions are not okay. Take us into that world. What is it that you're fighting about that some of us as viewers do not get to see and know that these are your rights?
I think one of the things you just said now is I feel that actors are not paid well. That's not where it's at. You know, when in 2014, Generation 16 went on strike and we got fired en masse. Before they fired us, before we actually downed our tools, they kept saying, "We'll give you more money. We'll give you more money." And we said, no, that's not what we want. Respect is really hard to come by in this industry. When you're saying, pay me 10 Rand, but show me respect. Oh, they'd rather pay you 1,000 Rand.
Oh, my goodness me.
They would rather pay you 1,000, 100,000. But to actually show you respect and treat you like a human being, that's really hard. So little things. The industry is unregulated, and that's where it's at. So even if I'm earning that 100 Rand for the week, I can budget. I can tell myself, okay, fine, Jonga Nambitha, for sweets, you've got 10 cents, and I can budget. I know that's how much, but I also know that I'm paying, 50 cents to my retirement savings plan. So my RSP is sorted. Should I drop dead on any given Sunday, my son continues to earn because I've got royalties. All the time that I took away from him to go and shoot Abotsotsi and John Vuligate and Tontons, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And all of those beautiful, amazing projects that I was doing, playing the iconic Winnie Mandela, all of the time I spent away from him is money that is my retirement. And he can take that, and that builds generational wealth for our
What is the
community.
practice in other countries?
You know something? That's the part that really, irks. It just grinds my...
It's a family radio show.
I know, baby. I know. I'm busy editing. I'm busy editing here. Yeah. So what's one of the biggest things is that there are people that are opposing the Performance Protection Amendment Bill and the Copyright Amendment Bill, and those people are mostly overseas. Americans, when they come here, they get to take advantage of us. So again, I take you back to, remember we talked about, me shooting the movie with Angelina Jolie,
Yes.
Noah Emmerich, Clive Owen. I was number 4 on that call sheet behind those 3 humongous names. Do you understand? And being like the hierarchy on a call sheet, those numbers are actually hierarchy, level of importance, all the
Definitely, the
trinkets that come with it.
significance, yeah.
Yes. And the privileges.
Yes.
When Beyond Borders plays anywhere in the world, Angelina Jolie makes money. Noah Emmerich makes money. Clive Owen makes money. Nambitha Mpumlwana gets applause. What's the difference between myself and the other 3? The difference is that I signed a South African contract.
Sure.
Those people come all the way from the United States of America, having lived through FIA, having lived through SAG-AFTRA, having lived through ACTRA in Canada, and equity all over the world. And they know how to treat actors because they've been forced, those countries allow actors to unionize. We in South Africa are not allowed by law to be able to bargain collectively. Do you understand?
That's terrible.
We cannot unionize. That's why SAGA is the South African Guild of Actors. We're not allowed to unionize by law.
That has
because
to change.
We are under the contract law. So all of those basic human rights, all of those basic things that are in the Labor Relations Act, by the time you sign that contract, you have signed away those rights to the extent that you can't even contest that contract you've just signed. So, yes, you're going to see me on screen. They're playing Tsotsi. Remember,
Yes.
I was telling you, they're playing Tsotsi since Presley Tonyega died. They're playing it because, it's topical. But can you imagine if he had the right to royalties? His children right now would be earning from his time away from them.
Sis Nambitha, I would want to take this for another hour. Sadly, I'm flat out of time. Thank you for coming through.
You don't look flat, baby.
Looks so deceiving. I'm out of time. I loved talking to you. Thank you for blessing us with your presence. It means the world to me. Keep shining.
Right on, baby.
Really appreciate it.
And to the divas out there, you just keep on keeping on.
Nambitha Mpumlwana, actress, public speaker, iconic South African, 2 minutes to 11.
To walk the talk is to turn words into meaningful actions. And it's what we at 702 are committed to doing every day. We're also committed to following the rules set out by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission's Code of Conduct. To give you balanced programming, fair comment, and accurate news. But if we stumble along the way and you feel we're not living up to the code, let us know on comment@702.co.za. And if after that you're still not happy, you can direct your complaint in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission, PO Box 412365, Craig Hall 2024. For more, visit bccsa.co.za.
1 year ago, a new name hit South African roads. Jator. 12 months later, we're one of SA's fastest growing brands, and it's just the beginning. This September, we invite you to celebrate with us. Buy a Jator at your nearest dealership and receive mystery gifts from phones and tablets to watches, earbuds, and exclusive Jator apparel. Test drive a Jator today and discover why South Africa has fallen in love with Jator. Jator, drive your future.
You pay your business insurance premiums, but does your insurer pay you anything back? Switch to Outsurance Business and you could get an bonus of up to 10% of your paid premiums back. For law firms, real estate agencies, computer services, and other industries, OUTsurance Business are trusted experts in business insurance. Get a quote today. It's easy. Call 08600 60,000 or visit outsurance.co.za. Licensed insurer in FSP. T's and C's and information online.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Aurélie Kalinga. The first robotic surgery used for living donor kidney removal has been a success at Tygerberg Hospital. The surgery was performed on a 45-year-old woman donating the organ to her daughter. The procedure makes kidney removal less invasive for living donors. The surgery was performed by urologist Dr. Danilo Duplessis through four robotic arms controlled remotely via an immersive 3D console. Duplessis says the surgery exceeded expectations and was completed in under 90 minutes.
Although robotic surgery on kidneys has been done for quite a while in South Africa and around the world, this is the first time that a donor nephrectomy has been done in the country. And for the transplant community, I think this is a great step forward.
The DA has welcomed the convening of a special sitting of the Stellenbosch municipality to deal with racist remarks attributed to its HR manager. Alexander Kannemeyer can be heard making discriminatory remarks about the appointment process and expressing his frustration at hiring of white men over other races. This was revealed in a video that's gone viral. Now, Stellenbosch Mayor Jeremy Fasser says an internal investigation's been launched to get to the bottom of the matter. Ntutuzelo Nene has more.
According to the DA, Stellenbosch Mayor Jeremy Fasser has called for a special council meeting to sit tomorrow to handle the matter of municipal HR manager Alexander Kannemeyer. DA national spokesperson Willie Oukamp says they will bring a motion to terminate the acting directorship of Kannemeyer, who has been the acting director of human resources.
The DA caucus will also call for his suspension by the municipal manager who has the power to do so. This is a move in the right direction and a demonstration that in government the DA has no tolerance for those who seek to divide or bully officials on the basis of their race.
He says race-based bullying or bullying of any kind has no place in any workplace. Ndutuzelo Nene, Eyewitness News.
A man has been arrested in connection with a robbery on the Table Mountain hiking trail. The woman hiker was assaulted and her phone stolen yesterday. Rangers were dispatched after the attack and tracked down the attacker. Sandpark spokesperson Charles Patlani.
The team apprehended the suspect and assisted the victim in filing a case with the South African Police Services.
With peak tourist season approaching, Sandparks is appealing to park users to follow visitor safety tips and join hiking groups. Western Cape Police are investigating a case of murder and attempted murder after a man was killed and a 4-year-old girl shot in the stomach. Police say the victim was approached by a suspect yesterday who quickly opened fire, killing him. The little girl caught a stray bullet and was taken to hospital. Police spokesperson Malcolm Boyer.
In the process, a 4-year-old girl was caught in crossfire and sustained a gunshot wound to the abdomen. She was transported to a medical facility for treatment.
Atlanta's CPF's Noel Kluter says the girl is in a stable condition.
The people is shocked. I can tell you that much. We condemn this totally. We as a CPF are engaging with the community. We're launching some programs to make the people more aware.
And finally, a local NGO is launching its 100th school library in Kalksteenfontein in Cape Town today. The Bookery has chosen Montana Primary School as the location for this milestone moment. The organization's main purpose is to improve literacy skills in children from under-resourced communities. Managing Director Shelley DeVet.
At the Bookery, we believe that every child deserves to experience the joy and the power of reading. We're hoping to inspire a generation of readers. We'd love the school community to embrace the library as a tool to support and improve their literacy.
DeVet says creating reading discussions between family members at home is also important.
We also create a beautiful space, somewhere that children feel welcome and safe, where they can be inspired either even to lose themselves in a book, but also possibly find themselves, become activists, writers, leaders, scientists. One of the key things that we focus on is reading for enjoyment as a step towards reading for learning.
Gold is trading at $3,526, 6 cents an ounce. The rand's at 17.70 to the dollar, 23.77 to the pound, 20.63 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $67.10 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N3 North leaving the Alexandra area. This is due to an earlier accident approaching the Buccleuch interchange while traveling out of Boysons. Delays on the M1 North between Boysons Road and the Crown interchange. There's also queuing traffic along the N3 North approaching the Buccleuch interchange.
Gauteng's fine today, highs between 29 and 31 degrees. The top story in Eyewitness News this hour: the first robotic surgery used for living donor kidney removal was a success at Tygerberg Hospital.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
702.
Live
on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
Six minutes after 11 o'clock. Thanks very much for sticking with us, for staying with us, and for being with us for all that time. And if you've just joined us, thank you for making time. We do have quite a lot still coming up. In the previous hour, we were speaking to Nambitha Mpumlwana, actress and an iconic South African. We had a chat about this, that, and the other, including the rights of actors and actresses in South Africa, their royalties, and the roles that she has played in the past, this, and much, much more. I hope you enjoyed that discussion as much as I did. It, for me, was a great conversation, and feel free to make sure that you get that on primemediaplus.com if you'd like to revisit it. In this hour, we have a feature called The Dialogue, and we will be diving deep into the matter of retrenchments. And I'd like to ask you if you've experienced a retrenchment in your working life as yet, and how was that? How did you manage to escape that very tight rope financially and otherwise? A number of South Africans are going through that right now, and would like to speak to the Department or the Ministry of Employment and Labour, and we'll speak to COSATU. We'll also speak to Professor Yanni Rousseau from the Wits Business School. But most importantly, I want to hear from you. What do you make of this environment of retrenchments that we have been seeing and experiencing of late? Are you one of those victims? It could be that we can't reflect on the company that you work for because we don't know about it. And it could be that you have received that letter that there will be retrenchments, and are you taking up a voluntary package to do so? What is your plan? And those are serious issues that we can avoid. It's a tough economy. How do you survive? Please join us. 8 minutes after 11.
Join us.
Let's walk the talk.
This is 702.
The Employment and Labour Minister, Nomakosazana Meth, has expressed, as you might know, deep concern about a spate of retrenchments and the notices that have come out, that have gone out at a major company, at major companies in this country. Some of them Fort South Africa, ArcelorMittal. You heard recently that they will be shedding about 3,500 jobs. Goodyear, South Africa, you saw all that in the news as well. And there was also Glencore. These are some of the companies that have announced job cuts and leading to heavy job losses. People getting out of work, and this is across various sectors. The Department of Employment and Labour has raised concerns, citing this could impact over 250,000 people down the line. And joining us right now, Thobeka Manyathela is our guest. Thobeka is spokesperson for the Ministry of Employment and Labour. Ma'am, thanks for your time. Welcome to 702.
To you, Thabo. Thank you for having us on the show. Good morning to the listeners.
Thank you for coming through, because the subject is very important and it's something that we can't ignore. I'm just wondering your reaction as the private sector is shedding so many jobs. And I've mentioned some big names, 3,500 from ArcelorMittal. We know the steel industry has not been performing well, and this has been a long time coming. Does the department or does the ministry in any way have envisaged some mitigation plans to absorb this very harsh economic blow?
Yes, well, these job losses, Thabo, the minister is very concerned about them because they will have very devastating consequences for the families. Loss of a single job goes beyond the Department of Employment and Labor. It is a societal problem that should concern all of us. When she saw in January that ArcelorMittal was struggling, and there were those reports already in January, she did request an urgent meeting with them. I'm just making an example of ArcelorMittal. We had a sit down with them, with the management, and they explained the situation. They did cite various factors such as high electricity costs. They cited the economy, the sluggish economy that's not growing as fast as expected. So there are many challenges generally, and now seeing all these announcements and plans for retrenchments, it is very worrying.
And maybe let's start with a process. Especially for those who don't understand. A company can't just wake up and decide that they are going to retrench individuals. They have to be demonstrable evidence that suggests that they cannot absorb their expenses any longer. Maybe before we even go anywhere, speak us through those processes before retrenchment.
Well, some of these processes will include discussions with the labor unions to then speak on these matters before the Section 189 notices are issued. With ArcelorMittal, for example, we've been part of a team of experts, interdepartmental response team that has included the DTIC as well as the IDC. We've sat down within that broader stakeholder engagement team. And our mandate really is to provide support to the employees. So what we've been able to do when AMSA submitted their application for the temporary employer relief scheme (UIF) application, it was considered, and an amount of more than 416 million was allocated in the interim while they implement a turnaround strategy. So this is part of the response team that Employment and Labour can provide. We do have a success story with the South African Post Office, where the Post Office was undergoing a similar challenge. They also submitted their TERS application, and an amount of 381 million was made available through the very same UIF program, and that provided immediate relief to secure the salaries of 5,956 employees. And the South African Post Office are implementing that turnaround strategy, which is proceeding very well. So at least there is some light, and there is indeed our programs are very effective. Unfortunately, with AMSA, they required additional funding, Thabo, that they could not secure for their operations, and this is what has led to the discussions falling apart with them. However, I do want to stress that the minister is still very much committed to providing support to AMSA, and those funds are still available. They are not off the table.
Yeah, and your job as a department primarily, or your mandate, I should say, is to preserve jobs and obviously create a conducive working environment in the labor space. What was behind the failure of the UIF-funded intervention of about 416 million rand for ArcelorMittal?
Okay, so what was behind the failure was that we cannot provide the funding, or we cannot release funds to a company if they cannot guarantee that they will not shed jobs. So unfortunately, we could not secure that guarantee from AMSA, as they had struggled to secure the additional funding for their operations. Remember, our funds don't fund operations. Our funds fund the salaries of employees, because employees our mandate is to protect the jobs. So that is our mandate. So we don't fund operations. So in them not being able to secure those funds for their operations, they couldn't give us the assurance that they won't lay off any staff.
And the conversations, I would assume, started long before the rubber hit the road.
Yes, indeed. We've been, as I said, we've been part of an interdepartmental government task team that has been looking at the challenges of AMSA. And our response within this stakeholder team has been securing the employees.
I mean, also, for those who would have been retrenched, what do they do? What is the process after being retrenched? Do they come to your offices? What do they need to bring through? And I would assume that it brings a lot of confusion among those who were previously employed, especially for years and years. What is due to them? Is there a percentage that the Labour Department looks into, and who qualifies, who doesn't qualify?
Where there are retrenchments, Thabo, and they are unavoidable, the department will assemble a rapid response team, especially for such a large number of employees. So if we are looking at like 3,500 at ArcelorMittal, we are looking at 900 somewhere else, then the department can establish a rapid response team led by the UIF and the public employment services within the department. What these teams do then will ensure that the applications of the staff members are processed smoothly. You don't have to have all those employees queuing at the various labor centers. So the department will go to ArcelorMittal, for example, and process these claims there. And all the employees that are due for the UIF, they will then be processed and paid accordingly.
Yeah. And that's not the only one. I spoke about Goodyear tires as well, where they have experienced a little bit of a hitch, and they are also considering that. Or to what I'm just wondering about government's intervention when companies are shedding so many jobs. At which point does the law allow you to intervene and to provide perhaps safe lending, soft lending for their employees more than the employer? And I do understand that you're also not in the business of assisting private sector to become extremely wealthy and profitable unnecessarily. But where does your responsibility stop as far as the employees are concerned?
So our responsibility, Thabo, is to ensure that the soft lending that you're talking about is to ensure that, we process their applications for the UIF payments as speedily as possible, and get them onto the system and make sure that they then receive what is due to them. It is unfortunate that we have seen the closure of Goodyear, and the department was not aware that Goodyear is facing such a battle, that they were under distress. We do rely on companies to approach us as well and make the application for the UIF TERS support. We've got the business turnaround strategy where we assist companies that are in distress, and the companies can apply for these funds through the CCMA. There is an adjudication committee that will sit and consider their application, and then based on their application and their strategy, the business turnaround strategy that they are proposing, certain funds can be allocated to them together with a time frame. So it's very, very important that, companies don't rush to issue these Section 89 notices, but rather engage with the Department of Employment and Labor and see how we can provide support. It is our interest to see thriving companies and also work towards growing the economy.
I don't want to sound like a mouthpiece of capital in any way. But a question comes up, Ms. Thobeka, about the role of government and if there's any legislation, especially within your department, that may be serving as a turn-off for investors, for those companies that would like to jump on board and assist Do you, when you're having conversations with various companies, is there anything legislatively that comes up as a deterrent for more investment or for fighting harder for their employees to retain their jobs?
No, in fact, none of. I know what you might be referring to,
Yeah.
and that hasn't come up. So
Mm.
what has come up in the discussions regarding the closure of these companies, it's been global economic factors, the trade wars, the higher tariffs. It's been a sluggish South African economy that hasn't been growing for months. That has now, manufacturing is not happening at a rate that that is productive. So these higher electricity costs as well have been cited, and unfair or cheaper Chinese imports that are coming into the country have been cited as the reasons why they are struggling and battling to remain competitive in the market. So these are some of the issues, Thabo, but not so much policies. I mean, I'll give you an example. I mean, the department has been successful in providing support, and which is part of the process of creating an enabling environment. I mean, 4 billion rands has been released of the same program, the UIF TERS, to support the Presidential Youth Employment Initiative, to fund the teacher assistants, to create jobs for young people who find themselves unemployed.
Yeah.
So there are some green offshoots, there are some success stories. I mean, we've cited the post office as well, where we've been able to stabilize the South African post office.
For purposes of time, let me not go into the South African Post Office. But here's a question for you. It says, "Hi, Thabo, please ask your guest, is a company allowed to have a short time for over 10 years? In the short time, obviously, salaries are cut. Are they not mandated to retrench if it's not doing well?" This comes from Sharon in Auckland Park.
Sorry, Thabo, can you just repeat that?
Yeah, it says, "Please ask your guest, is a company allowed to have short time for over 10 years? In the short time, obviously, salaries are cut. Are they not mandated to retrench if it's not doing well?"
Well, I mean, the company, before they even consider retrenching, they can approach us. We assist companies to reach productivity levels. We've got an entity, the Department of Employment and Labour has an entity called Productivity South Africa that helps companies to be productive or to reach productivity levels that they desire. So yes, before those Section 89 notices can be issued, I think companies should consider not just throwing, the baby with the water, but perhaps seeing how they can partner with us, and we can then provide the necessary support.
Thobeka, thanks for your time. Really appreciate it. And I will keeping our tabs on this story. Really appreciate it. Thobeka Manyathela is spokesperson for the Ministry of Employment and Labour. 22 minutes after 11.
702.
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
Professor Yanni Rousseau is joining us, Professor at Wits Business School Wits Business School. He's an economist, and he's giving us his insights as well. Prof, thanks for your time. Welcome to 702.
Good morning, Thabo, and good morning to the listeners.
It sounds a little bit unnatural. It looks like we are missing something in this equation. About 250,000 jobs are at risk right now. ArcelorMittal shedding 3,500. It looks like is it just seasonal, or can we endure this very difficult phase of economic downturn?
What we are seeing at the moment, Thabo, is really the result of very low or even no economic growth for a prolonged period of time. Our economy has been stuttering along at less than 1% per annum economic growth. Our population growth, incidentally, is about 1.5% per annum. Businesses are really struggling. And when businesses struggle, they have to restructure their operations and they have to consider their costs. And labor is, of course, a big component of the cost of businesses.
Is government doing enough to mitigate this?
No, of course not. The government should adopt investment-friendly policies. The government should adopt a policy framework where it is attractive for new businesses to invest. What we need in South Africa is very rapid economic growth to eradicate unemployment and to eradicate economic hardship. And we've not seen this from the ANC government for the last 15 years, and they keep on following the same policies that didn't work for 15 years.
What about in a specific case such as ArcelorMittal, but generally the global steel industry is not doing well? There's overproduction. Even countries that have been benefiting from this have overly produced so much that if there's overproduction, the supply will become low and the space becomes too competitive. It will definitely affect the prices. In that instance where there are global forces that are pinching the local economy a little bit tighter, what sort of mitigating instances can we place in order to preserve the industry for ourselves and our employees locally?
Well, for one, we can make exports more attractive. Now, in the case of the USA, we now face a very high tariff structure for our exports to the USA, which will be very bad for South African producers. The government has not even done the obvious thing in the midst of our crisis with United States relations. They've not even appointed an ambassador. So, I mean, this is the obvious thing to do if you have a crisis like the trade tariffs being introduced by the USA, is to make sure that you have a competent ambassador in the US to start engaging the officials and start negotiating a better deal for South Africa. The ANC has monopolized foreign affairs for itself within the Government of National Unity, but President Ramaphosa cannot even announce the appointment of an ambassador to the USA. So there's no clear policy plan to get us out of our trouble.
What about processes of industrialization as the government and creating that fertile environment to for the local economy to sustain itself? I'm thinking of countries such as China, where construction became a thing to preserve jobs, create jobs, and to sustain its economy. And whilst there are some criticisms to be said about that, it did sustain them for quite some time. Are there practical steps that South Africa can take to stimulate its own economy by looking at internal consumption?
No, I fully agree with you that it is a strategy South Africa can follow. But then again, our government must create the environment for such a strategy. Our harbors must work for such a strategy to work, because you will have to import certain items to use. Our railroads will have to work for one. So the government will have to start doing the obvious things and forget about big dreams of being a world player. Do the obvious things. Get the harbors to work. Get the railroads to work. This is get the municipalities to work, fix the potholes. Then we will have local. If we can have municipalities that work with local service delivery, we will have local investment in our towns and our cities. That will be very beneficial to work to jobless people. But we can't even get our municipalities to function optimally, and the ANC has no plan how to sort this out.
Policies, legislative pieces that are protectionist of nature, would those work?
Well, even before we get to that, just get the obvious things to work, as I've said. Fix the potholes, fix the street lamps, clean the cities, clean the towns, so that it becomes an attractive environment for local investment. Make sure that we have local service delivery, like sewage, like water, like electricity. But we do not even have those basics in place in many towns and cities, and we will not see investment in those towns and cities if basic service delivery is not in place.
Is there sunshine after these very dark, stormy clouds that are in front of us right now, Prof?
Yes, there is, if the ANC is, on the one hand, willing to do the right things, or on the other hand, if the ANC can lose power. because the ANC is not bringing the results South Africans desperately need. What we need in this country is rapid economic growth and job creation for a growing population. What I see as very positive within the Government of National Unity, though, is that parliamentary oversight has been restored. The parliamentary structures are again exercising oversight over the executive, which is at the heart of a democracy. And that is the one positive thing that the Government of National Unity has brought that makes me very excited. We now see Parliament exercising its oversight function again. And from the oversight function, all these good things can follow. So from that perspective, I'm very excited about the future.
Prof, thanks very much for your time. Professor Yanni Rousseau, Professor at Wits Business School. Exactly 11:30. Aurélie standing by with Eyewitness News headlines. Good morning. Welcome, Aurélie, once again.
A very good morning. Thank you. The first robotic surgery used for living donor kidney removal has been performed successfully at Tygerberg Hospital in Cape Town. The surgery was done on a 45-year-old woman donating the organ to her daughter. The procedure makes kidney removal less invasive for living donors. A 4-year-old girl is recovering in hospital after being shot in the stomach while another person was killed in Atlantis, Cape Town. The incident happened yesterday as learners made their way to school. The Community Policing Forum in the area believes the attack was gang-related. And finally, a local NGO is launching its 100th school library in Kalksteenfontein in Cape Town today. The Bookery has chosen Montana Primary School as the location for this milestone moment. The organization's main purpose is to improve literacy skills in children from under-resourced communities. Those are the headlines. This Eyewitness News and more at 12 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Traveling in Protea Glen, we've got delays on the N12 West. This is between the Klipspruit Valley Road and the R558, and that's due to faulty traffic lights there. Please be on the lookout while traveling on the M1 North. Please be on the lookout for some delays just as you approach the Crown Interchange. And if you're traveling on the N3 North, delays approaching the Kilulis Interchange. I'm Amo Ramela. Otherwise, Karabujali will have your next traffic update from the top of the hour onwards. And Thabo, I believe you have a note for me.
Yes, I was just about to say that this traffic, EWN Traffic, is brought to you by Mpumalanga. And I'll continue to let you know that explore the wonders of Mpumalanga, discover the ultimate wildlife experience that brings you closer to nature. Get your adrenaline rush with endless adventure activities. Explore breathtaking 4x4 routes or hike the Blythe River Canyon, the third largest in the world. Unwind with spectacular landscapes and majestic waterfalls. Make Mpumalanga your destination of choice. Mpumalanga, embrace the unknown, live the adventure. This message is brought to you by the Mpumalanga Tourism and Parks Agency. Mpumalanga, the place of the rising sun. Visit mpumalanga.com for more information.
Welcome to the brand new days.
Sail the world with Norwegian Cruise Line, with more to see, more to do, and more to enjoy. Plus, upgrade your holiday with NCL's More at Sea for premium beverages, specialty dining, and much more. Think international cruising. Think NCL. For the best deals available, visit ncl.com or contact your travel agent. Restrictions apply.
Welcome to the brand new days.
On 20 and 21 September, the DSTV Delicious International Food and Music Festival, powered by Lotto Star, brings you the flavor, the music, and the vibe with international stars, SA's top performers, delicious food from local artisans, and fashion that turns heads. It's the ultimate heritage weekend experience. Gather your friends on Saturday and make it a family picnic day on Sunday. Join interactive cooking demos, explore vibrant art, and celebrate 30 years of DSTV, bringing entertainment to Africa. One ticket gives you access to it all. Visit ticketmaster.co.za with more on deliciousfestival.com.
Pneumococcal disease can strike at any time, especially if you live with a chronic condition or have weakened immunity. If you're 19 and older with the chronic disease, vaccination can help protect against pneumococcal pneumonia. The risk increases for people 65 and older, and vaccination is advised to help prevent serious illness. Ask your healthcare professional about pneumococcal vaccination. Don't wait. Vaccinate. Brought to you by Pfizer.
When I say insurance, you say pineapple. Insurance.
Pineapple.
Insurance.
Pineapple.
Insurance.
Pineapple.
Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP.
702
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
25 minutes to 12 o'clock. Thabo in for Clement. We're together till 12, and we're speaking about a bloodbath, jobs bloodbath in South Africa. And it is anticipated that there would be about 250,000 jobs at risk. Currently, we've said at nauseum that ArcelorMittal will be shedding about 3,500 jobs. There are other companies as well that will be in that queue, including, amongst others, the Goodyear tire company that you may know of, and various others, wherein it has been said that also Glencore is involved in that. They cited electricity costs, Eskom tariffs, and Transnet logistical failures as central to their retrenchment decisions. These are concerns that government definitely can look into. I want to hear from you this morning before I introduce my next guest. What do you think can be done to stop this retrenchment wave? As an employee, as an employer, as someone in the industry, as a South African who cares about these issues, what can be done? What sort of mitigating things can we come up with? Plans, strategic outlooks that we can put together to mitigate against this job bloodbaths, because the loss of jobs does also lead to various unintended consequences, socially and otherwise. And those are things that we cannot afford right now. Matthew Parks joins us right now. He's COSATU's parliamentary coordinator, someone who is in the know about and representing the workers generally. And I've asked also Prof. Yanni Rousseau to stick around and join us for this latter part of the conversation. Prof was with us in the earlier part of this discussion. Matthew, welcome to 702. Thanks for joining us. Always a pleasure talking to you.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
The implications on workers. Of course, we can speak about what companies can do, but initially, you represent a huge ton of workers. What's the direct implications on them?
Look, it's devastating. There's nothing worse than losing a job. You'll struggle to find another job in an economy with a 43% unemployment rate, which has been sitting at 1% growth for the last 2 decades. And we really do fear we're heading in so many simultaneous painful wins at once. We're seeing, companies like Goodyear closing. There's rumors that Mercedes, Toyota might follow suit or retrench. Glencore has been raising the alarm bells about the increasingly unaffordable price of electricity to heavy intensive users like Glencore, which operates foundries and so forth, and which has been closing for the past couple of years because electricity is just simply becoming unaffordable. And this is something we just can't afford. And we also simultaneously are likely to see jobs being shed, significant amounts of jobs in the agricultural sector, in our citrus industry, which exports to the US because of the tariff hike of 30%. That's going to also hit other manufacturing companies in the Western Cape, in Limpopo, for example. And we're also likely to see that having an impact upon our automotive industry, which also exports a significant amount of its production line to the US. So that's going to hit Ford, which I think also is announcing retrenchment likely in Silvertown and Pretoria. So these are just things we just can't afford. And yes, I mean, those workers lose their jobs, but also beyond that, they can't take care of their families. They can't pay for food or electricity, pay for their debts, pay for the bond for the house. And this really plunges many people into poverty, and it has an impact on their families, obviously. But also each worker supports about 7 relatives. So there's a real society-wide blow when you come into this kind of a crisis. And we fear government's not moving fast enough to mitigate it, and also not moving fast enough to address the root causes as well.
Are we at crisis point yet, Matthew?
We think so. We think we've been in a crisis for a long time. If you have 4 out of 10 South Africans who can't find work, that is a very dangerous ticking time bomb to be playing around with. And we really have made a fundamental fault as a country by normalizing such abnormal levels of unemployment. And until we begin to create jobs, we're not going to be able to resolve all of our many other issues, our poverty, our inequality, the issues of crime, etc. None of those can be resolved unless we begin to get people into jobs and really find ways to address the structural obstacles to growing the economy.
With Goodyear, Matthew, before I go to Prof quickly, I just want to squeeze in this question. With Goodyear SA and the company closed down without even applying for assistance, how are you as unions enforcing accountability from such companies that benefit from state incentives yet retrench at will?
So that's all the fundamental issue we have to deal with. So there is a logic to providing subsidies, tax rebates, lower electricity tariffs to these companies. We need to do it because we need to create jobs, create industrial sectors, value chains. But I think what we failed on collectively as a society, as government and so forth, is to say, how are we going to hold you accountable? You can take a worse example of ArcelorMittal, which has not only received lower electricity rates, investments directly from the IDC, from the UF, and then still close the shop. So we need to begin to restructure the systems we receive that is linked to you remaining in the country, you not only saving jobs, but actually beginning to create jobs and actually beginning to help nurture value chains so that even if you do pack up your bags and leave, that something is left behind. Because right now, out of our desperation, we've handed over huge amounts of money to many companies and they've just taken it and then decided to walk. And we're left with the consequence. So in Uitenhage, the small town, the blow is going to be massive when Goodyear closes.
Prof. Rousseau, let's come to you. Platforms where business, labor, and government meet, and just, I suppose, even beyond Netleg, should have ventilated on the situation that we are facing right now. What are some of the conversations, compromises that are not taking place amongst stakeholders that could somehow assist in this dark space? Of course, we can blame each other, and of course, we can point fingers at one another now that we're here. But what is missing in our discussions to each other as we engage? What is the core thing? And I just want us to be blunt because these numbers are scary. I'm worried that one day we'll wake up and they'll be far worse than this.
Oh, Thabo, I agree with Matthew's remark that we are normalizing a very, very abnormal rate of unemployment that is clearly unsustainable. No economy can continue to function with this rate of unemployment. This rate of unemployment was on the back of a low rate of economic growth for the last decade, for which we can only blame the ANC because the ANC was in power. Secondly, President Ramaphosa gives no leadership whatsoever. He just keeps on appointing new commissions. On that matter, I can simply only say the issues remain the same, only the names of the commissions of inquiry change. So now we have this idea about the national dialogue that will cost either 400 million rands or 700 million rands. And we don't need a national dialogue. We need to do the basics right. I've said before Matthew joined us, we need to fix our municipalities. For that, we can only blame the ANC. We need to fix the streets, we need to fix the infrastructure, etc., to get local investment in our municipalities that will create jobs. And then, at the same time, we need a government that acts against corruption. And we've also not seen that. We've had the Zondo Commission, the cost of which was more than R1 billion. Very little has happened. Some of the people named in the Zondo Commission are still in the executive in positions of power. So there's a total lack of decisive action when problems are brought to the fore. I can continue, but you get my drift, Thabo.
I get that very well. Thanks, Prof. Matthew, Have you picked up any bad faith from the private sector as COSATU?
No, of course there is, without a doubt. I mean, ArcelorMittal is a prime example. It's a global company, a global giant. We're relatively small fish in its pond, and so they've been happy to take money from the state, from the IDC, tax rebates, low electricity costs, etc. And when their target isn't met, they're happy just to close shop because we're small fish in their pond and they can move on. But the consequence is you create ghost communities in Newcastle, etc. And you leave real people in poverty. So we do need to have a consequence. And of course, state capture. Yes, politicians without a doubt were deep in the cookie jar, but also we saw people in the private sector too, very happy to play along, in fact, happy to facilitate and capture politicians. So, yeah, politicians are not angels without a doubt, but I don't think we must also say people in the private sector are angels. We've seen, for example, Bain Capital was a part of facilitating this, and I think there had been some progress by government, not enough by any stretch of the imagination, but someone beginning to hold some of these companies accountable. So I think Bain, I think McKinsey were amongst those companies blacklisted by Treasury, have had to repay money to government, which is good. One must applaud that, but we would really want to see people in orange overalls go into prison because the damage they caused to the country was huge. We really want to see not just people paying a fine, one can even say a slap on the wrist, albeit, a few billion rand is useful for government. But again, the damage to the country has been massive. And I think the most painful part is that you do find in many municipalities the daily horror stories of local business people with politicians just treating the public purse as a private slush fund and just helping themselves to it. And again, there's been endless consequences. State-owned enterprises which were once internationally renowned, be it Eskom, be it Transnet, Metrorail, Denel, literally were brought to the point of collapse and are struggling to recover. And again, the damage is huge.
Yeah.
We're discussing electricity, people not paying. And people often assume it's only the issue of poverty, which it isn't.
Yeah.
Because we've seen government departments, we've seen very wealthy companies refusing to pay the electricity bills because they could get away with it. And again, the average resident Kailisha pays the price because she gets hit with a high electricity tariff because somebody could found a gap and took it.
I've asked our listeners to participate and share their thoughts because they are directly affected by this. And I think let's go straight to the voice notes on 072 702 1702, 13 minutes to 12 o'clock.
Well, Thabo, this whole thing about shedding jobs, perhaps there's another way to tackle this problem. And that is for the government simply to decree that if something is produced in South Africa, you may not import it. And then as some protection, if there is a monopoly for a particular item, put a super tax on excessive profits to force people to have the same price. Have a good day, Tom.
Greetings, Thabo. It's not as easy as you get retrenched and you can get back on the employment ladder. I've been retrenched for 26 months. I've managed to do odd jobs here and there. I'm not even looking to get even 1/5 of what I used to get at my previous corporate employer. You either get told, sorry, you are white, 54, you are too old, or we can actually have the job done by someone who's younger and who will work for 6,500 rand. So if you're prepared to work for that, we can possibly look at you. That's the reality of South Africa. And allow that to sink in, because while you're sitting on you earning a salary and you're sitting pretty, it doesn't affect you. Once it does, it's a different story.
Yeah, I am not affected by a number of things, obviously, that take place around the world. But it doesn't stop us from talking about those, right? Because we're not here also representing ourselves. We are just a vehicle of communication expressing this. You'd know I'm just a freelancer. I don't have a permanent job. You can check with the Department of Labor. But the questions are serious nonetheless. All I'm saying is that we need not personalize it. I sympathize completely with you. And I feel where you are right now. It must be devastating to be completely unemployed, unemployable, and be a victim of retrenchments. But let's not then, I suppose, insult each other necessarily. We are raising this issue because it's important and we have of these individuals because it's worth a discussion. I think we should take it in that view. I do sympathize with you nonetheless. 011-883-0702. I think we have a caller, Abel. Let's go straight to it. Oren, you are in Swartdam. Good morning.
Yes, Thabo, how are you?
I'm trying. How are you?
Good, man. You know, myself, I was laid off last year due to the retrenchments. But looking at the patterns now in the country, as the unemployment is rising, I just want to know as to whether is the government in an autopilot or not. Why I'm asking this? Because every sector is seemingly affected by all these retrenchments due to competition. You look at the steel industry, you look at the textile industry, they see that they are taking tons from Brazil into the country. What is the role of the government to protect the workers from competition? Because as it's happening right now, very soon the country will be without employment. Honestly, look now, it has happened with Goodyear. Ford is about to retrench people. Nissan in Roslyn has already laid off people, and then there are some rumors that it's going to close down. And so many other sectors and companies that I didn't mention. What is the role of the government here?
Yeah, and we're trying to explore that. Quickly, before I go to my two guests, I just want to touch on one or two text messages that came through. Morning, Thabo. These job losses in South Africa, nothing will be done. It shows how our leaders are. This comes from Mindlos in Vereeniging. Hi, Thabo and team. I agree with Prof in everything he said. The government must act, make the environment more investor-friendly. We need to remember that every investor is in it to make money. Unfortunately, the society suffers with the resulting social consequences. It comes from Noni. There's no quick fixes to job losses. What the country needs is an economy based on domestic consumption and create local manufacturing rather than wanting to bring high-tech companies which require skills we do not have. Lucky Nkwashu sent that one. Rian says, Rian in Pretoria, good day, closing down equals to, and they say that they can't compete with cheap Chinese and Indian imports from our BRICS partners, ArcelorMittal. They say they can't compete with cheap Chinese imports from our BRICS partners. And those are some of your thoughts that came through on 0727021702. Prof, clearly South Africans just now are focusing on re-stimulating their economy and making it viable for more jobs to be produced. You said that it's not the end of the world as yet. We can still recover from this only if we put certain things into place.
Yes, of course, the people commenting should remember that they have the ultimate power in their hands. We will have municipal elections by the end of 2026 or early in 2027. Think carefully for which party to vote, especially in ANC municipalities where the ANC is not up to the job and where there's no service delivery. Just vote for someone else because the ANC can clearly not deliver. On the matter of localization, I have to say that for more than the past 5 years, probably for the last 10 years, I've personally pleaded for the South African government at all levels, central government level, provincial government level, and even local municipal government level, that the government should only buy vehicles manufactured in South Africa. This idea has gotten no traction. I have no support for this idea, and the politicians, of course, want their expensive toys. They have no appetite for this. But this is an obvious solution to many of our problems. Just start buying at all government levels vehicles made in South Africa. Matthew, can I get support from Kusatu for this idea, please?
Matthew?
Professor always has our support. He is a passionate advocate of buying locally produced vehicles. And I think even the first caller made that point as well. One of the most sustainable ways to growing the economy, to creating jobs, growing local businesses, is to buy locally produced goods, whether it's the shoes, the clothes we wear, the cars, as the Prof is saying, we drive. the food we eat or the furniture we use. We should be buying locally produced goods. And, government procurement budget annually is about 1 trillion rand. If government could really make sure all of that goes towards locally produced goods, even cement, for example, at construction sites, that immediately is a lifeline to the economy. But I think also beyond that, many of these issues, and also us as consumers too, we must do it. We must make the effort when we go to the shops just to check is that sugar produced locally and so forth. I think also the one other critical thing is about we have to deal with the issue of electricity. We're seeing Glencore and other companies retrenching because electricity is just simply unaffordable. So government with Eskom has got to give it the support to set electricity on a more affordable path. We can't sustain this amount of electricity price hikes. We've got to reduce it and so forth. But that means dealing with the leakages. We've also got to fix and expedite the efforts to rebuild Transnet because that is key to a huge number of jobs in mining, manufacturing, agriculture. We have to fix the mining rights application system to unlock investment to the mining industry, which is the backbone of the economy, but it's shed huge amounts of jobs since the 80s. Similarly, to Prof's point, fixing municipalities to avoid companies closing because of a lack of basic services, fixing Metro Rail to help reduce congestion on roads. But beyond that, also want to say two quick things. We need a much more bold industrial financial package, not just from the state, but also from the private banks too, to really give support for industrial sectors, export companies, SMEs, because the amount of money we put right now is a pittance given our level of unemployment. And at the same time, the last point is that to expand the public employment programs, the presidential employment stimulus, to really help break the back of 12 million unemployed, to help them enable to get the experience, the skills, the confidence they need to find jobs and to earn a minimum wage. But right now, we should be treating these two issues, industrial financing and public employment programs, as a major intervention in addition to your ESCOMs, your Transnet.
Gentlemen, in just 20 seconds that is remaining, I'm going to ask you a question, and it's rather unfair, but such is the nature of life. Is there demonstrable political will that exists to deal with this problem and make sure that it doesn't come back? Let's start with you, Prof.
No, there isn't. President Ramaphosa is both inefficient and ineffective. He's not leading the country anywhere. He's not been a leader during his presidential term. Yeah. To have any expectations from him, we are bluffing ourselves.
Matthew?
So it's easy to be pessimistic, that's natural, but I think there is pockets of excellence to give a counter view. We've seen how SARS was rebuilt. We've seen progress in ending load shedding. We've seen progress in rebuilding Transnet. We need to replicate those across the board and show the same leadership we showed collectively as a society during COVID. Throw everything at this growth and unemployment crisis. We have to do. We don't have a choice but to do it. Is
there political will, Matthew?
There is, but it's not enough, and there's not a sense of urgency, to be honest.
Got you. Thanks very much. Matthew Parks from COSATU and Professor Jan Rousseau from WITS. 3 minutes to 12. Thank you, gentlemen.
Aubrey Masango.
Weekday evenings,
8 to midnight.
An 81-year-old doctor from Free State has admitted to putting a man in a shallow grave who were coming to, according to him, attack his farm. He claims that he buried that man because that man's body would have been eaten by the jackal. Not too long ago, we were dealing with a story of a farmer and his accomplices killing 2 black women and feeding them to the pigs. Things have been happening in the farm. And I hope that people like Donald Trump and his friends here in South Africa are watching these stories unfold.
Aubrey Masango.
8 to midnight on 702.
702.
At the heart of global conversations shaping our future, Africa's voice is more important than ever. As proud lead sponsor of the B20, the Standard Bank Group is honored to showcase the continent's growth, partnerships, and potential on the world stage. Because driving Africa's growth isn't just our ambition, it's our purpose. Tune in every Monday from 3 p.m. for the Standard Bank B20 In Brief for key insights and updates around the B20. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
Light the fire this game day with a winning lineup from Checkers. Like Championship Boerewors thick or thin for R109.99 per kilo. Steakhouse Classic man-size club steak for 130 Rand per kilo. And Fanta, Sprite or Stony soft drink 2 litres. Any 2 for 35 Rand. Save 13%. Light the fire, South Africa, and let Checkers do the rest. Deals valid until this Sunday, only at Checkers.
Ready, jet, go! 2 fully paid trips to the Abu Dhabi Motor Racing Spectacular must be won in the thrilling new JetX competition exclusive to Hollywood Bets. An unforgettable experience awaits on one of the fastest circuits on the planet, with the world's top drivers battling for supremacy. To stand a chance to win, bet 10 Rand or more on JetX. 1 million Rand in cash is also up for grabs. Hollywood Bets. Fly higher with our multiplier. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
It's exactly 12 o'clock. Thanks for staying with us for the past 3 hours. Stay tuned for Midday Report with Mandy Winner.
This is EWN.